It's showtime! And it is me, Demitri K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, the Black Dr. Loomis. It's time! Come on, let us have it. Let's start us off with a bang.
Um, Sheriff, he's here somewhere in Haddonfield. He escaped, and we have to get him. Michael Myers, he could be anywhere. You don't want to start a panic. But if you do, he's off. Michael Myers in the back. We got him out over there. We got to shoot. We got to get back to Haddonfield.
Yes. I love it. For those of you guys who were confused, that was Dr. Loomis, Donovan, the ultimate impersonator. That was Dr. Loomis of the Halloween series, the infamous doctor that was on Michael Myers' bumper, trying to hold him accountable and, get rid of him, for lack of better words. But anyway, how y'all doing? Now, the purpose of the Demitri K Show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. So once again, I'd like to say a big giant thank you to Donovan, our resident impersonator. Also, I'd like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. You are the other, or X, the other side of the conversation. Not only are you just viewers, you are participants, because we do share the link on YouTube. So for those of you guys that are on Twitter and on Facebook, you're like, where is the link? It's on YouTube. I'll put it in the chat. So all I ask is that if I do not know you and you haven't been up here before and you have a picture where your beautiful face would be, please show me your face before I bring you up to the big screen. And then if you like, you can blank it back out if you do not want to be seen by everybody. But that's really just to cut down on all of the shenanigans. That being said, today we are going to have a discussion. Somebody sent this to me. And I said, okay, I think that's a pretty interesting. So it's a child support case. It's actually a dispute between a mother and son. And there could be an arrears check. So arrears is like back child support, right? Of $163,000. So the son is saying, I should get in. The mama's like, skirt. So I'm going to actually read you guys a scenario, and then we'll have a discussion from that. And as Donovan says, he is an expert on all things child support, and he is here to lend his expertise and everything in between. Black America, how are you today? Jamarcus and Patty, how are you today? Donovan?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm an expert, but I am a victim of the child support system, like a lot of the brothers are out there, and some mothers are too. I want to welcome you guys to the Demitri K Show. This is a great program to talk about different topics. As you see, we're talking about this topic here, which is something that affects all of us. And guess who changed the child support system? Bill Clinton, the Democrats. Now notice all of those daddies, especially in my generation, Generation X, that walked away from their responsibilities and didn't have to pay child support for the children that they made. But they made sure, a lot of those people are still in Congress, that they weren't held accountable like we are. So that we're going to get into that topic right there. But you guys see a scrolling banner at the bottom. If you so desire, please, and you want to help out and keep Demitri motivated, that's the way you guys can do it. As you know, when you subscribe through the YouTube app, about 40% of what you actually contribute actually goes to the content creator. So that's another way that you guys can do it. This is a very, very hot topic because, once again, I want you guys to remember, men and women are different. We are wired different. We think differently. And our perspectives are going to be different. So it's a great discussion. I know some people might get emotional. Some people might have some trauma from it. I have trauma from it. Demitri has trauma from it. And, let's be adults and have a great conversation.
Yes, indeed. And Flavor Genuine, I hope I said that right. How are you doing? It says the money is supposed to go to the child. All right. So people are already jumping out the gates with their opinion. And so I'm going to give our people just another minute to come on here, because y'all know how it goes down. What are we talking about? What happened? But I'm going to tell y'all something interesting here in Houston. It was 92 degrees today. 91 is what my watch is saying. It was 91 degrees. Okay. Do y'all know that tomorrow, guess what tomorrow the weather is going to be? Just take a stab at it since it's Halloween coming up. 40, 59 degrees tomorrow is what it's going to be. Like that is a significant drop. So you go from being able to wear shorts to wearing your overcoat and, you know, all your other clothes. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, but it's only going to last for like 4 days. And it's going to be back into the 70s and, you know, maybe 80s. And I'm sure they say Texas is bracing for another like freeze type of situation. Is going to be really cold, which I don't mind the cold. I just don't like when the electricity and all that other stuff goes out and then you're in the house in the dark and all you can see is eyeballs and stuff and your teeth are chattering. So I'm not looking forward to that. But anyway.
And real quick, here in Southern California, your home state, your home place, it is breezy, that cold breeze. So we know that the summer is over and the fall, we're in that nice, where it's not a cloud in the sky, but that nice cool breeze is coming in. So you got to get your sweaters on and all that other good stuff.
Oh, how I miss that weather. I do. I really do. But anyway, don't make me sad. Brother Don, how are you? Black America, you better. I can't wait for you to click this link. Talk about you a victim too. I got to hear this. So Patty said 30 degrees. No, it's going to be 59, which is might as well be 30, right? But anyway, shout out from Florida, Flavor Genuine. So yeah, Florida, y'all weather's kind of like ours. But Florida weather's not too bad. I was just there last weekend. But anyway, let's go ahead and get to it. Other people will join later on, I'm sure. All right, so let me add this here. All right. So apparently somewhere on Facebook, this was, I guess, a heated discussion somewhere. Now, I don't know if this is from this particular person, Dakota Blue, or if it was a scenario from someone else. So I don't want to attribute it to her specifically. But anyway, y'all see here, it says, who should get the money? Ladies, I have a question. And this, I'm going to say ladies and gentlemen, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I have a question. My son is 24 years old. His dad never, ever did anything for him. Seen him maybe 5 times. I put him on child support and he never paid. So it's up to $160,000. Let's say I received that check. Whose money is it? So basically mine or my son's. We had a debate about it. And I told him if he don't get his out of my face with his BS or this BS, talking about it's all of his money. I said it's mine and I did everything for you. And if I decide to give you some, you better be happy. Was I wrong or was he right? Brother Reggie, how are you doing? So Donovan, do you want to take a jab at it?
You know what? I'm glad you let me lead with this because the answer is very simple. And I want you guys, again, this is logical. Men are logical. Ladies are emotional. They usually lead with their emotion, but it's a very simple answer. If me and another woman make a baby and we're not married or whatever, even if we are married, and I got to pay child support, okay? This man, according to her, did not pay one dime, right? So he has to reimburse her half of all the expenses that she had to do. Half. That is what she's entitled to. Unfortunately, ladies, you guys seem to think that the child support is for you. It is not for you. Yes, you should be reimbursed for any expenses that you have to pay, and you're both parents, that both parents would pay together. The money is for the child. Now, if you happen to be one of those moms, like my youngest son's mom, who got the child support and basically didn't spend any of it, and she put it away, great. You know, he graduates high school, he can do what he wants for it. It's the child's money. It is the child's money. But the expense and the whole point of child support is to rear the child. So any expenses should be half. So what that mother should do with that check, using basic logic, is deduct her expenses, half of the expenses of what she paid. So 163 deducted half of that would be 80 something, whatever it is, 80,000, let's just say, to be nice. And then the rest should go to the child, period. And that's it. That's how simple it is.
So you're saying 80 should go to, so half should go to her and then 80 or half should go to the child.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So let me see who else came on here. Mike Nice, how are you doing today? And Brother Don, you say she is right. And thank you so much, too, for being our moderator. And Avenge the Ancestors, how are you? Say hello, Queen Demitri, Brother Don, and Room Black First. Yes, indeed. And Angela Reddick, how are you doing? And ARE Radio, One Love Family, I'm back at you. And D Maverick, how are you doing? You say this man is already getting heated. You say this man is talking out of his butt. And Brother Reggie said, I was thinking that too. 50-50. Okay. So y'all mind if I remove this? Everybody's kind of got a gander at what's going on. Of course, I can repeat it if need be. So what I'm going to do here, okay, I'm going to share the link early so we can get the party started. Donovan, Halloween is Tuesday, right? No.
It is Tuesday. Yes, it is. Okay?
So maybe we should dress up for our podcast. I know that you have a plethora of costumes.
Well, yes, I have my black Spider-Man costume, and I got the mask and stuff that goes. I mean, the whole thing is awesome. So don't even worry about it.
I don't know what I'll be, but I'm sure I'll surprise you guys. And now, of course, we don't celebrate
What's that
Halloween.
Street down there, Bassinet? What's the street?
I'm not gonna be playing with you, okay? No, I'm not gonna be one of them people on Bissonnet.
I was talking about the movie. You could be one of the actresses in the movie.
Oh, my daughter said, she seen Bissonnet, and she actually took me over there one time. I was like, oh, okay, so this is where the action is. And of course, the people in the movie were dressed far better. Okay, they were a better quality of Bissonnet workers. But no, I'm not going to be playing with you today. Okay, that's what I'm not going to be doing. Some damn Bissonnet. But I don't know. I'll figure something out. I'm sure it'll be interesting. So here is the link. And I'll give you guys my opinion. Who else came on here? Patty says, I don't usually agree with Mr. Donovan. I do agree with his opinion. The child belongs to both 80-20. Okay, so you're saying 80-20. And Dia, how you doing? Says, I did the math. $377.31 a month is not enough to take care of a child.
Hello, let me answer that real quick. See Dia right there, and I want you to understand, 377 to your calculations isn't enough to take care of a child, but the court determines that based on what people are making. Do you see what I'm saying? You got to use, we know $500 isn't enough to take care of anything nowadays with everything going up. We know that by our common sense, right? But that isn't how the law works. If the court deems that, I know some guys that are paying $75 a month for a child, and they can't even do that. So we get it. We know what it takes to pay for a child, but you can only get what the court calculates, and every case is different. So,
Will, how are you doing this fine evening? Glad that you can join us. I know that usually you are working, so thank you for being here. And Flavor Genuine says, I got the Spider-Man costume, but in black as well. Donovan's got black, green, blue, purple. He's got them all, trust me. Okay, I don't think there's too many costumes this guy does not have. I'll tell you, I could go over.
I even got the Michael Myers mechanic suit.
Yeah, see, I wanted the mask, but they was wanting a little bit too much for the mask at the time that I was interested in getting it. But I have, the doll and other stuff. But so I'm going to surprise y'all. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. It's going to be fun. Again, we don't really celebrate Halloween, but why not? Go Fies, how you doing? Says, where's the MAGA money at? I don't know. And Dia, you say, I split the courts. He says $160,000 in half. Okay, got it. So you're saying she split it in half. And that's where she got the money from. Yes, Will, you will behave. Okay, we're going to see. In Flavored, Genuine says, isn't child support based on income from both parents and what the courts determine who should pay? Yes, and DA says $75 a month isn't enough to take care of a child either. All right, so y'all want my opinion? Of course you do. All right, so now she's saying the child support totaled $163,000. Now I'm gonna imagine some of that is interest. It just has to be, right? Unless they live in a state where interest is not accrued, but most states are. So a lot of that probably is interest. So she's saying that the son is saying, you need to give that to me because I was the child that was being supported, right? Now, in my opinion, I don't think she has to give him one red cent because I'm sure she spent more than that, raising him, let's say to 18, some states it's, till they get out of college. But let's say to 18, and it sounds like to some degree, he's still with her. I don't know if he lived with her or not. So I'm going to go off and say that she spent way more than that raising him from the time that he was born until that very moment. So you ask me, I think she's coming up short, being, owed $163,000, but she's already done her part and then some to raise a child. So I think that every dime needs to go to the mama. Now, I know there are some cases where if the mom is doing well and maybe she's remarried and they don't need the child support like that, there are a lot of cases where the mom will save the money. So that way, when the child is older, here you go. I've saved all the child support that your dad has paid. Now go off and make a life, buy a house, or do whatever it is you need to do. Because I've actually heard of people doing that, saving enough money so the child can go buy a house, a car, and have a great start in life. But let's keep it a buck. That's not normally the case with people who are getting child support. Normally, they actually need that money, right? They don't just get to say, well, I'm going to just put it away for a rainy day. Now they're like, nah, I need to, put this on the light bill or whatever the case. And of course, we know child support is, they do weigh the income of both people. And they also weigh the amount of custody each parent has, right? So if you have joint custody, then they'll probably go off of who's making more. But if you don't, so let's say you are the mom and you only have 30% and the father has 70, then of course, you're probably going to end up paying the father. So there's different methods, but that mom don't owe him nothing. I'll be the same thing. Get out of my face. Now, if I want to take you out for a hot dog and ice cream or something, once I get it, then I give it to you. But I don't owe you anything. Matter of fact, you better be quiet before I start making you pay some rent around here.
Right. And then in a situation like that, there has been cases where the mother did do that and the child took the mother to court and it was adjudicated in court that, what money was his or hers, it's hers, and then the mother got whatever her portion of it was.
Yes, indeed. And so D says the court determined she needed whatever she was granted. If he said it was half, if the now adult child gets half of the accumulated, the mom is getting 1/4 of the money. Go ahead with the math. I'm going to take your word for it. And D said,
in D Maverick's defense, there's no doubt the mother is going to get some of that money in some capacity, but I don't think that she's entitled to the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's entitled to all of it and then some. I mean, because how much does it cost to raise a child today? Or even if you go back, 20 years, how much does it cost to bring a child from the cradle to 18 years old?
Right. So let me ask you this. What about those guys that maybe they didn't pay their child support, but they spent time over the years with their child? Is there a value to that? So I'm just saying, is she still entitled to the whole thing if, he was a father that was there but wasn't paying child support? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, she's entitled because, while we need the presence of mothers and fathers around, that presence don't put food on the table. You coming over and spending quality time, that's wonderful. We need that. I'm not discounting that, so please don't mistake me in that. But it's not, I'm trying to phrase this right. It's not tangible in the way that I could take that to the grocery store to pay the light bill or pay the mortgage or rent or whatever it is. So yeah, the child still needs shoes, and the father coming over and playing Nintendo, going for a walk, that don't put shoes on the child's feet. So let's see here. Black America, how you doing? Give me a moment. D said Demitri is right. Child support is the child does not due a dime. Yeah, I just kind of feel like he already got his money when the mama was taking care of him. Donovan says, ladies, let's be real, ladies. A lot of ladies choose Pookie and Ray Ray who never had a job and will never see that money. I'm gonna just let that ride for just a second. And Dia says, I agree with Demitri. The money should go to the parent who has a child full time, more than half custodial parent. Yep. And Anita, how you doing today? Long time no see. Brother Reggie says, boo.
Wait. And have you guys, I want you guys that are in the comments, look at the comments, how the men are talking versus the women. I just want you guys to notice that.
I'm paying attention. I'm taking
over. I'm talking about our friends in the comments, because this is how men and women are wired. We see it one way, women see it another way.
I'm taking a mental tally. Trust me. No, I'm not really. Willie says, if a man slip in and have a child, he should be responsible. Monet, how are you today? She says, hey, Donovan. And Dia says, child care alone is a mortgage. Okay. God. Hey, Sunlight Stranger. How are you doing today? We are so happy. Yes, it has been a while. I hope that you're doing well. I saw that you posted a picture of your grandson. Was he going to a dance or something like that? Very handsome young man, I might add. Brother Don says she raised a whole child. She should get a whole child support check. Yeah. Anita says, what are we talking about today? I'll put it back up in just a minute so you guys can get Will, I just saw your comment, so y'all can get a picture of what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, let me put it up here right now while I'm reading the rest of these comments, so y'all can read through that. So that is the dispute. Big Rich, how you doing? Long time no see. We miss you too, Sunlight and Renz G. How are you doing this fine evening? And Dia says, agreed, men and women are different. Yeah. Big Richie says, it's unfair when we pay child support and then the woman gets to claim the child on her taxes. That is a slap in the man's face. Oh, yes, we can have that conversation as well. Because, yeah, I think that's it's definitely worth the discussion. So let me write that down. Black America, how are you doing?
Hello, I just came up right quick to I'm a victim too. I got me too, Donovan. We need to cry about it. Boo hoo. Listen. Hello, good afternoon once again, everybody. The problem with the money now is, you know, I'm gonna give you a for instance. You have a mother, and she says that she did all of these things for the child, but a lot of us men know, and men that date women know, you guys don't really spend any money on your kids for the most part. And if you are spending money on your kids, a lot of you women are getting it from a guy, from some other source. Like, so I'm not saying that she's not entitled to anything, because that would be completely wrong. She's entitled to it. But if the child support is for the child, did she send him to college and pay for it out of her own pocket? Was he a sports person and she had to go buy said shoes out of her home? It's many of women that have had me buy them shoes for their kids and cleats for the football team and stuff like that. You women don't pay for shit. Y'all don't pay to take a man to dinner. And it's kind of like the Rihanna thing with the Super Bowl. It's socks. Men get socks on their birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's Day. Every occasion, a man gets socks. You guys don't spend money on anybody but yourselves and your own upkeep. So if she did go above and board and went and bought him a car out of college and pay for his college and pay for all of his shoes, but to feed a person for however long she did, I just don't see it. I just don't see her having rights to all the money, because the money is for the child. And thank you. And I'm gonna go on mute.
You're welcome. We thank you for your opinion. I'm gonna pull this down. Oh my goodness, today. So, Black America, it is your assessment that women or mothers don't really pay for much. That maybe she's getting it from some other dude or something like that. I'm gonna just put this one up here. I'm gonna just let it ride for a minute. I mean, because to say that women don't pay to take care of their children, I don't even know where you. I don't even know where you would come up with that, because you bought a pair of shoes for a child that you assume that a mama don't take care of her children financially. Well, what do you think they feed them with, or how they putting the clothes on their back and a roof over their head and stuff? Like what? How? I'm confused.
That is not child support. A woman should be able to do those things on her own. Just like women say, oh, a man needs to be able to take care of himself. And like I said, it's not that she's not owed anything. She is owed, but a woman always gets support most of the time from many different sources. And I mean, you're not going. Every woman is going to say they're independent and they did it all by themselves. But us men know, we see you guys and we know that that's a damn lie.
Thunder, you say, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is 0% chance of pregnancy if your area of concentration is, you know what? Area of concentration is the tonsils and the vocal cords. And like you said too earlier, if she got an AARP card, that's, yeah, you probably not going to be having to worry about that. But Thunder, you are in rare form today. I will add that. So
do you see the logic of men? Do you see the logic?
Well, if that was a possibility, why y'all ain't aiming there?
It takes a whole lot of work.
I'm always aiming there. I'm always aiming. Don't even play.
Brother, you missed 16 times. Okay.
Yeah, but I probably scored 10,000. So 16 to 10,000. I mean, I got a pretty good average. Right. My batting average is great, outstanding.
Ooh. I'm gonna be quiet because I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Will says, Donovan, government is the answer about distribution of taxpayer dollars. No.
Hell to the no. Look, if the government was the solution, you see what they're doing with our tax dollars with the illegal immigrants and the Ukrainians and all that other stuff. We ain't getting it, but they are.
So I'm gonna say this, and Dia, you say, so if a man is a custodial parent, he doesn't deserve child support. I disagree. Yeah, I think men deserve child support too. There's a lot of men who are raising children while the mama is all, doing whatever she's doing. Case in point, perfect example, I should say, is that of Black China. She is taking Tyga, the father of her son, her oldest child, to court for child support and custody. Now, as of now, she has the child 24 hours a week. So the child has been raised with his father his whole life. And now, she's turned over a new leaf. She's a big time Christian now. I guess she ain't on OnlyFans and stuff. She's wanting to take him back to court, but she's never paid child support or anything like that. Now, obviously, Tyga's doing very well financially, but just the gall of her to say, oh, well, I need some more custody. And I need you to pay me child support when I think the child is like 11 or maybe give or take. You ain't been paying no child support in all this time. Now all of a sudden you're due child support. So now that's where I think, like I said, I would just love to be the judge. I would listen to her and I would say, for real, I'm throwing this one out. Next.
well, Demitri, I would, as a man, I would accept your thought that men should pay child support, but I know it's disingenuous. Because your baby daddy was getting child support and you guys refused to pay the man his money.
He wasn't getting it. They awarded him child support, but he didn't get the child support. Now, mind you, I love my baby daddy. How you doing? If you're watching, how you doing? Or whatever. But he was awarded child support, in my opinion, erroneously. And he did not collect one dime. As I said, see, that's why I'll be saying, y'all men, y'all think y'all have an ownership.
That's the point. That's the point. Most women do not pay child support.
But let me finish the story, okay? Because it's not just like I was, a piss poor parent or nothing like that. What had happened was, and I've told y'all this story before, but what had happened was, my daughter's father at the time, he wasn't working for whatever he was, but it was like, under the table. So, and it was actually him and his new wife always taking me back to court because her thing was trying to get full custody of my daughter so that I would be out of the picture. So anyway, this particular time, he went to court and he says, well, I'm not working. And then so the judge says, well, what do you do? And I told him what I did and told him how much I was making. I was being honest. I should have lied, but I was being honest. And so he does his calculation. Okay, now you owe him child support. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe I heard this wrong. What? Because mind you, my daughter, I was taking care of her, let's say 95%. Like she lived with me. She registered school. She was on my lease, everything. A medical, I took care of everything. I was never, ever absentee parent. So after I got, they did the ruling, I cried and I called my mom, then I called my dad. And my dad says, will you let me know if he collects one dime? If he collects one dime, you please let me know. And so he said, don't you pay him nothing. So I said, okay, daddy. I never paid him anything. And my baby daddy never took me back. So when they took me back to court again, the judge, same thing, was a woman this time, says, and maybe it worked out in my favor, I don't know. She says, what do you do for a living? He says, oh, I'm not working. So I told her I was doing the same thing. That didn't change my job. So she looked at the previous transcription. She said, sir, that's what you said the last time. You weren't working. Now it's been a few years. Why can't you find the job? He was like, well, you know. She says, okay, what do you do? He says, I'm a chef. So she put it, on her computer, the calculations, and she goes, okay, you're a chef. I'm going to put you in at this amount. And she did the calculation. She goes, now you owe her child support. Now, he never paid, and I never even, collected or anything like that. But the point that I'm making to telling that story is we often think of it in terms as the woman is getting child support, and it's probably majority true, I would imagine. But there are some women that get the short end of the stick too. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what it is to be a victim. And then that was the first time. The second time is when, for whatever reason, he went on. No, actually, that was this is the first time I'm telling you about now. But he went on government assistance because guess what? He wasn't working. So one day, this is before direct deposit, I get my check stub. And it was significantly, less than what I expected. And I could not figure out what was going on.
And the NOI was on its way.
So I called, human resources at my job, and I was like, what's going on? And they said, oh, your check is being garnished for child support. I said, what? It was totally a surprise to me. So I found out why it was why you clapping, getting garnished. So I took myself down to the DA's office. I went every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. I said, it's not about the money to me. I said, this fool is lying. I am not an absentee parent. This child is in my life every day. I said, you know what? Y'all want to know what y'all, I'm getting mad even thinking about it. The crazy part is we lived in the same apartment complex. I lived on one side. He lived on the other with his, girlfriend at the time. Now is his wife. But I said, we live in the same apartment complex. And the lady says, really? I said, oh, he didn't tell you that? I said, so how can I be an absentee parent and I have not seen my child if we live in the same apartment complex? So this went on for a whole year. And you know what she did? They returned all of my money except for $50 administrative fee because I proved him to be a liar. So trust me, I feel y'all pain. I really do. Buckhorse, she says, 14 years later, I was excluded as the father in the courtroom. Now that's horrible. That you were put on the hook falsely for a child that wasn't yours. Hello, Michael. How are you doing? I'm going to put the link up in just a minute. Only if y'all have something to add to this child support conversation. And specifically, if you had an issue with child support. That's who I want to hear from right now, if y'all don't mind. Okay, so let's see here. Let me acknowledge all those that came on here while I was running my mouth. Mina, how you doing? He says, peace and blessings. Child support should not exist anymore. Oh, okay. Very interesting. Buckhorse, she said, judge awarded me 30 gigs. I turned
30 G's. 30 G's.
Oh, 30 G's. Gosh, I'd have took that money. And Felicia, how are you doing today? And D says exactly. So Black America's logic is off. Every full-time parent deserves child support. The sex doesn't matter. Absolutely. D say, Michael, let me bring somebody else on here right now that actually can speak more to child support, because I don't think you have no kids at this moment. So give me a minute. That way I'll bring you up in just a few. And D says, I see the male logic. It's convoluted. All right, let's see. And Will says, interesting view, dear. I suppose he do the system we live. Okay. All right, so let's see. And Marjorie, how are you doing? And H. McDaniels, how are you doing? Long time no see. Says, my son was recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that. Said he was 11 years. He has 11-year-old twin boys with their witch of a mother. I will call you so that you can get what's going on. I would appreciate your opinion. Okay. And also, I'm gonna put the link in the comment section too, for those who may have a child support situation. But yes, I am sorry. I hope that your son, beats this. Stage 4 is pretty serious. So my prayers go out to you and him. Jojo, how you doing? You say child support is a broke woman's hustle. Oh my God. Donovan says the man is always held accountable to the law in this country. We get no excuses or slack. Mr. Jackson, how you doing? He says when I got custody of my your son. He says the court called me the sole managing conservator. I didn't ask for child support. I just wanted my son. Granny said you're a bigger fool than I thought you were. Yeah, because, and I guess that's true. There's a lot of men, and also in society, it's kind of told to the man, oh, you a sucker. Why you getting child support from a woman? Don't no man need to get child support. But if you ask me, I'm like, yeah, dig in her pockets, because she surely would have dug in yours. Felicia says all women complain about paying a man. Girls too. I was just talking to my daughter when I told her about Mary J. Blige. She said, I thought only men pay. Rather, I explained her accordingly.
Yeah, did you see that video clip of Mary J. Blige explaining how it was outrageous that she has to pay her ex-spouse child support, and it's just unreasonable and stuff? And I'm looking at her like, wait a minute, if the situation was reversed, why is it that when it's reversed, there's nothing wrong with it, but then when you're the one that makes all the money and makes the most money, it's outrageous for a man to ask for money? Look what Tyrese is going through in his situation. She's trying to crack the prenup. See what I'm saying? It's just amazing how when the situation is reversed and women are seeing it from a male's perspective, just like you saw it from a male's perspective in the child support system, it's outrageous.
Yeah, I'm gonna touch on that in just a second. Ali says when you go to see the mediator, don't bring your lowest check stub because the Workforce Commission already knows your pay. Right? They just waiting to see if you gonna lie. Oh, I ain't really this. You bringing the one where you work 2 days that week. Talk about this is what I'm getting, and it was like, well, I have differently here. Then you might end up getting in trouble. I don't know if you could perjure yourself, but yeah, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. An idea you say people should be more responsible with making and rearing babies. That will help the child support battles. Absolutely correct. Flavor Genuine, you say child support is money reimbursed to the state if a custodial parent applies for public assistance. And Mirad, how you doing? Says I was on child support and the state took the majority of the money for my kids, and they claim my mom was on welfare, but she worked for the public school system. Yeah, so that's the other thing too. The state does take, it's something in it for them. They're not just doing it for free, right? All right. So Jojo says, ain't no way a man should be in debt with his child. Yeah, but unfortunately it happens. Third Coast McQueen, how are you doing this fine evening? D says, I have a friend, a female, and she's paid child support. Both her boys have reached the age of majority of the child support payments stopped. Yeah, there's quite a few women who actually pay child support. Anita says, would it really be an issue if both parents could just come together and support the child without the courts? The courts are not the friend of Black men and women. You're absolutely right. What if we just agreed, right? But a lot of times there is greed on one side. A lot of times, and it's just the truth. A lot of women get the advice from a friend or somebody. Girl, take them to put them in the system. They gonna make sure you get your money and all that other stuff. And then a lot of times you end up coming up short because the court sometimes may only award you a little bit, but you'll see as the child gets older stuff that they actually have needs that outweigh what you're getting. So it would be optimal. Then on the other side, yeah, there's just some, I say non-custodial parent, because I don't say men or women, that won't pay. They just won't do it. Shaniqua, how are you doing today? All right. So let's see. Jojo says not to offend all women about it being a broke woman's hustle. Yeah, I have a disagreement about that, but I'm just reading down these comments. And Murad says, they reported on your credit report and then you can't get it off. Yes, that is true. And you also get your licenses taken and your passport. It's a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I just made a comment to Michael, who was asking a question in regards, according to the Constitution, you're not supposed to lock anybody up in this country because of debt. They are actually ignoring the Constitution, because if you owe a lot of debt, that is not a reason to lock somebody up. But if you owe child support, which is a debt, they lock you up. And until the men put a stop to this and we rise up and start our organizations of no ma'am, around every city should have a no ma'am organization. And we got to put a stop to it. But no, in all seriousness, no, if you read the Constitution, we are not a debtor state, nation. You cannot put people in jail because they owe money. That's why Donald Trump gets away. All the rich people get away with stuff. Look at all these Ponzi schemes where the people owe all this money to all these people and they don't go to jail.
Al, Stevie Wonder is paying $2,500 in child support for kids he hasn't seen. You wilding, okay? Rashad, how
wrong? I mean, that's wrong, man. Stevie's blind, man. Stevie's blind.
he did what's his name? Ray Charles. You know, he was filling up the woman to see. Third Coast McQueen says you have no children. And John, how are you doing? And thank you. And Fly Guy, what's going on with you? Big Rich, he says the only country on the planet that will lock you up for not giving money for your child. He says, Murad, I am suing the state for violating my federal rights. Oh, Lord. How you doing today? Thank you. All right, so I want to go back to this comment here, a question. Michael says, Demitri and Donovan, what is your proposal for reforming the child support system in terms of reducing prison time, eliminating income garnishment, capping monthly income, etc.?
There should not be a child support system, period. Done.
Oh, okay. Well, that was quick. For me, I would say, why not be proactive? Okay. If you were, I don't know, I just think in 2023, we should be a little bit more evolved as humans in our thought process. Like we've seen the copious amount of people back in the day, maybe some of our parents, right, go through having child support issues and stuff. And so to me, being proactive means, okay, Miss Ma'am or Mr. Sir, do I like you enough to want to spend, I don't know, sometimes 22 years paying you child support if we don't work out, we don't get married and rear this child together? Would I want to do that? If the answer is no, then you should zip up your pants or pull down your skirt and say, I can't take that ride. You know, the job is too dangerous for me and I just can't do it, right? That's what I would say, because once you get into the system does not belong to us. The system belongs to them, right? And it is something in it for them to put people into the system. And so that's the best way that I could say, just avoid it altogether. I mean, I don't know. It just kind of sucks to hear people cry about it. Oh, yeah, give us the pay child support. But it's like, you should have been crying. I ain't talking about moaning. You should have been crying when you was up in it. And for whatever reason, you started a baby up in there. I don't know. Maybe that's just too simple. But I will say this. I know that California was proposing within their whole little reparations package that they don't even talk about no more. They were proposing to get rid of interest for Black people that owed child support arrears. They're talking about getting rid of interest because they said a lot of that is rooted in racism and systematic oppression and all that, because a lot of times people just cannot pay the child support and the arrears because they don't have the means to do it. They're not making enough money per se. And so they said a lot of times when people go to court, and especially regarding Black people, the judge doesn't really look at their situation. They just go by these like guidelines and stuff. And then that Black person may not be able to afford it. And so they're talking about getting rid of it. I don't know how true it is, though.
And again, the revamping of the child support system was done by the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has done so much harm to the Black community. And guess who's also co-signed on that? The CBC, the Black leaders, pastors, and all the other stuff. And it kind of incentivizes also by having this child support system, and I'm not trying to blame the ladies or the men, it incentivizes a lot of young women not to get married because the state will enforce the money that they need, but it hurts our community because it's a double-edged sword. It enforces the women's side of it, which is great. I'm all for it. I'm not one that says, people should not pay child support, because I paid it, you're going to pay. I went through the pain, you're going to go through the pain. But at the same time, as the women are being enforced their rights of child support, it's destroying and incarcerating Black men on the other side, going against the Constitution. And our community specifically is being affected more so than any other community. We are not incentivized to get married, and our men or women are being incarcerated with a record on their system and stuff over a child support issue that they could not control.
I got a lot of things that I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna hold it until I get to these comments. Fly Guy says facts DK, and Dia says if there weren't broken household families, child support wouldn't exist. I would think, Marad says I have been on both sides of child support. Yeah, I have been too. And it's funny because no money was ever exchanged on either side. Jojo, you says, I bet the woman would take birth control if they had to pay. Y'all gonna make me open my mouth, and I ain't trying to do that right now. I've been having a pretty chill day. I have not had my blood pressure raised for any reason at all. I've got the house to myself. My daughter's in California, enjoying herself, and so I'm gonna keep it that way for right now. Al, you say, Donovan, what's a good dress attire to wear to a funeral other than a suit?
There is no other dress attire to wear to a funeral other than a suit, a dark suit, black, blue, brown, something dark. Or if you're in the military, wear your military class A's. I mean, if you're in the military now, if you have nothing to wear.
Marjorie says, no man should be locked up for child support. The government is money hungry. If the government can give trillions of dollars for war, then they can help families with better wages. Absolutely. And welcome to the chat. Let's see here. Angela says, years ago, my daughter asked her child's father to pay her $200 a month for direct child support. He refused to pay her anything, so the court made him pay $400 a month.
Yeah, and that can also work in reverse. There are some people where if you go, some ladies or with some dudes, if you go to child support, you're going to get less than what the man is giving you of his own free will. So it kind of works in reverse.
Yeah, well, you says, I heard from my brothers under child support, the system not only possibly lock you up, but also take your license, which prohibit the guy from working to pay. Yeah, so it just kind of, it's just really wonky. But yeah, they do take your licenses, your passport. I mean, they
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And you would think, let's say I have a passport and I'm not paying child support, which I do have a passport. I have a passport, I'm not paying child support, right? And I leave the country. You should revoke my passport right then and there, because we don't want those guys that ain't taking care of their responsibilities.
And okay, hold on. I'm gonna hold that thought. I'm gonna get these comments down. Oops. Angela, how are you doing? You says, hello. I wish parents could work things out amongst themselves and leave the courts out of it. I enjoy the show each Sunday, and we enjoy you being here. Jojo says, make the power equal. Make both of them pay half and half. A woman gets pregnant by a man she's not married to, y'all pay equally. But that's kind of how it is in the court anyway, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
I mean, they have
guidelines. It depends on what state you're in too.
Yeah, they have guidelines. So yeah, it just depends. Ali says, I have a friend who's getting early Social Security, and his son is getting a check as well. How is that?
Well, the earliest you can get Social Security that you pull out from what you work is 62. Okay, you got to be 62 to pull out early. How do I know? I already checked in it for myself. But
unless you're disabled.
Yeah, if you got a disabled thing, there's always a thing for that. And that's a different kind of, well, yeah, you're right. That, and then if the child has issues, whatever. How many of you guys know that 250,000 Ukrainians that Joe Biden flew in here, they are getting Social Security? Now, I ask you guys the question this because you guys are some of the most intelligent co-hosts on the internet. How can people who never put into the Social Security system take out of it? And then you wonder why by the time we are eligible to retire, there won't be anything available.
Michael says, Donovan and Demitri, what would you say to the Democrats that started child support system before Bill Clinton came into office? Did he accelerate the trend at the national level? I also know that Gloria Allred, y'all know who she is. She was very instrumental in actually having the wages garnished, because even though a person that usually was the man was ordered to pay child support, there really was no way of enforcing it. So she was at the helm of getting the wages garnished. So just so y'all would know that. But in regards to the Democrats starting child support system, well, that actually is kind of go into the thought process that I had. I was actually just writing down. Hey, Yanni, how are you doing? All right, so follow me if you can. So we've heard that child support is racist, right? Especially toward Black people, and predominantly, I would say Black men. Okay, so if it's racist, the men can't pay for. Let's take out the men who don't want to pay, right? Let's not include them. Let's talk about the men who can't pay, maybe because they don't make enough, they can't take care of themselves for whatever reason, right? They can't pay, so they can't pay. Then they can't work because their licenses. Let's say if they have a license, a contractor, their truck driver, CDL, something like that. Their licenses, and I think if not, I'm not mistaken, in some cases, doesn't the driver's license, I don't know, I could be wrong, get revoked too. So they can't work because all that's going on. And then what happens with a person that can't work? They might commit some crimes. They might go do some things that they wouldn't ordinarily do, whether they go sell some drugs or something else that's criminal. Okay, so then you commit a crime, you go to jail. And we know that going to jail and then most likely it's prison, that is a profit because a lot of jails are privatized and there's a return on the investment for investors. And they have to have the beds to the tune of 90% occupied. And so how do you guarantee your investors a return on their investment? That means you lock people up for everything. And so the child support avenue is perfect because now you have an excuse. You make these laws. Well, you can't pay your child support, Mr. Johnson. No, I can't. I've been down on my luck. Too bad. You got to go to jail. And of course, anything about the prison system. Once you get in there, yeah, you might be giving them a year, 2 years, or however much they sentence you to. I would think something like that is probably county jail, but then I don't know, right? So you go to prison. A lot of times when you're in prison, and I've spoken to a lot of men in prison. Not that I'm a pen pal or no prison bae or nothing like that. But I've spoken to quite a few men in prison that were there for a couple years originally, and now they've been in there for 25, 30 years, just getting charges, ridiculous stuff racked up on them and stuff. So that's the system. So if we are smart enough to realize that that's how they get, especially Black people and Black men into the system, then I think we should, like as I said earlier, be proactive, zip your pants up. And if you ain't trying to marry Miss Martha or whoever, then don't put a seed in her. It's just that simple. I don't want to say it's just that simple, but I think that's a good start to not getting in the system. But the system, no system here in America has ever been designed for Black people. So I don't know.
Yeah, a prime example is what Tyrese is going through. He had a clear-cut contracted prenup. I mean, and this is what I mean about men are always held accountable according to the law. Whatever is written, especially when it pertains to Black men, it could be overridden. It could be cracked. This lady's been trying to crack that prenup for over 3 years, and he's given her everything according to the prenup he was supposed to get. But again, that's a prime example of how, and ladies, I don't mean to be disrespectful or whatever.
It's greed.
Yeah.
Greedy.
Yeah, this is what I believe. Women do not believe in equality. They don't. They don't believe in equality when it comes down to actually being equal. They don't believe in 50-50. Look at the Cheesecake Factory lady. Look at the ladies talk about, I can't live with no man for 50-50. You guys don't believe in it, and you don't believe in it. So that's just, where we're at.
Absolutely. I may be freezing up a little bit, but y'all, I think that you guys can hear me. Let's see here.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
All right. So just in case, and Angela, how are you doing? You say child support is based on both parents' income here in North Carolina. I never requested a raise because my income was more than his, so I won't complain. Yeah, and that's good because there's a lot of people out there. They see the other parent that made $1 more a year, and then they want, he did get a raise or she got a raise, ma'am. It was only $1 a year. I don't care. I want half of that. How dare him live high on the hog?
True, Demitri. You've been with me for a long time. Every time I got promoted in the military, I didn't get a promotion. I didn't get a raise. They did. That's why I say I'm a victim. You think about it, ladies. You do not incentivize a man or a person. I'm here working hard. I'm trying to get this promotion. What, if it wasn't for the fact that I was on a contract with the military, I would have left. I would have quit because it was not advantageous for me to stay in an organization where I am still at the poverty level or whatever, and I'm not making any progress because every time I got promoted, the money went over here. And then when I asked, seeing the condition of my child based on what I saw, hey, where's the money going? I can't even get an audit, but you can audit me. It's just women do not believe in equality. They don't.
Absolutely. Well, it says money for bodies, federal to state, the system. Shaking my head. Yep. All right, let's see. Jojo, you says you can get married and have a child and it don't work out. Here comes child support next. Yeah, so that's why I said I don't want to say it was simple because you're right. That could be the case, but at least your intentions were in the right place. You made a baby, y'all got married, or you got married and then made a baby. But as they say in the nation, settle down to a good choice. Do court, do your, the vetting process. Don't just say, okay, we had 2 conversations. She good.
Yeah, well, let me say this. With my youngest son's mom, we didn't go through the court system. After the hell I went through with the first child, with the other female, whatever the deal is, I learned, fellas, hey, and I was real about it. This is what I make. We were both in the military, and we were just fair with each other. If I can go above and beyond, I would go above and beyond. But I did not want to go through that court. I was so traumatized. I did not want to go through that court system anymore. But notice in the thing, I said that when my son went to college, she wanted me to pay $10,000 to have him live on campus. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, well, what's the big deal? He's going to college, whatever. She lived 4 miles away. And I refused. My logic as a man, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I pay $10,000 when his mother is right there? He can live at home. But she wanted him to live to the campus. So she paid that expense. She didn't go to the court on me. She didn't do all that. So what we got to learn to do is communicate to each other in a better way and be fair about it. That's what we got to do. The government running to child support shouldn't be your first answer. You guys are adult enough to make these children. You should be adult enough to work a reasonable agreement out between each other, hopefully.
Yeah. And also, and I know it's been said a lot that regardless of who is getting the child support, unless you married to, I don't know, Michael Jackson or, somebody with a whole lot of money, that little child support ain't going to keep you at home. You're going to have to get a job too. The child support is a supplemental thing. It's not a, well, I got to work. I'm going to stay home with it. No, you don't.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all, Ms. D.
Do tell.
Well, we all know there's something called Section 8. And since my kids were small, one of their mothers, all she did was live off of hustles, Section 8, food stamps, all that type of stuff, child support. So, I mean, you can absolutely live, it's a lot of them. I know that none of you guys are like that, and it's nobody in your chat like that, and probably nobody that you guys know, it seems like that. But it's a lot of women living off of food stamps, Section 8, child support, and other bull crap like that, which means they don't have to do anything.
Okay, so check this out. So maybe I should clarify what I'm saying. If she's getting child support, she's probably not getting that much, money from the government. Yeah, and she's probably getting Section 8 food stamps and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, in most cases, a lot of cases, the child support alone is not enough for a person to stay home. So that leads to, well, I need more money. I'm not getting enough money. So it's like if you were working, because the person that's providing the child support, they got to work, right? Unless they're just rich or something. I don't know. They have to work to give it to you. So you should have to work to sustain your household, and the child support is just a supplement. Now, I do know that there's people, and I do know of some people believe it or not, Black America, that are working the system, if you will, and all that other stuff. But I just wouldn't imagine that, because if you're paying child support, you're probably, and they're getting welfare too, you're probably not giving them a whole lot of money. Because if you were, then they wouldn't be getting welfare. Does it make any sense?
It absolutely doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all because once again, and here comes the man and the woman bashing. If you didn't pay your child support, so hello, but I paid my child support, and I paid so much in child support that they actually sent me back checks every month because I paid too damn much in child support. So um, it's it's women that work the system and they do it well. I mean, I can't knock them for it, but it's a hustle. It's a hustle, and they can live off of it because their rent is paid for. If they have any other expenses, it's services and things like that to help women pay for services. Like it's food stamps. They don't have to. My little sister, she she gets so much in food stamps every month. Like she's eating fucking crab tails and lobster and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. So I see it all the time. It's absolutely ridiculous.
So I mean, I guess, but I would say that's probably not the norm. I don't think that's the norm. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't have any hard data on that, but I would imagine that's not the majority of, let's say, women who are getting child support. They're also on some sort of governmental assistance. Another thing too, I think we need to just really kind of put it on out there that in many cases the child support is really probably $100 to $200, maybe $300, depending on what the situation is. But if you think about somebody paying even $300 a month or Donovan, I know you ain't the norm, and I know other people who are paying quite a bit too. But if a man is or a woman, either one, is paying $300, $400, $500 a month of child support, yeah, they probably cannot, and especially if they're not making a lot of money, it's probably going to be hard for them to sustain themselves. And God forbid they go get a second job, and the other parent finds out about it, then it's going to be, oh, well, they working, they got another job, and then they going for a modification and all of that. So it's a lot. It really is. I mean, we can honestly be here forever.
Hey, Demitri, how many of us remember that guy? I think it was in Tennessee, or maybe it was also in Michigan. There's two guys. They had like 30 children, and the judge was like, "I told you." She had told him not to have any more children, and he was always making excuses. I'm trying, Judge, and he kept having babies and babies. She said, "Don't. Next time I see you, better not have any more babies in my court." You remember the guy we're talking about? I think did they end up locking him up finally? Because he came in with more babies.
How many?
He had like 30 something children. He was like,
oh
20.
Yeah.
See, now that right there, a guy like that needs to be chopped off because of his irresponsibility. Because who's paying for all his babies? We are.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And Flavor, genuine. You say, isn't there a discovery motion that non-custodial parents and attorneys can use to gain information about the custodial parent's income and to ensure the money is spent on the child? It doesn't sound like there is any forensics or anything like that. Because there's also the accusation, which I think is probably not the norm. I think it's some that the mama is spending the child support on her nails and her weaves and all that other stuff. And it's like, I mean, come on, I don't know what I can look and see what the average child support payment is, but I doubt very seriously on average the women are using that money to go beautify themselves. I mean, hell, have y'all seen some of these women's nails cost $200 every 2 weeks just to get them things done? So are there some women who use the child support on just them? Yeah, sure. But I wouldn't think that's the norm. And then again, there's not even a lot of child support given all like that. You hear men say, "Oh, she out there with all these clothes and Gucci bags," and all. It's like, brother, you giving $50 a month. What are you talking about?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because there is a distinct difference between, and no shame, those that are in the hood and play those hood games, you get hood prizes, and that's what happens. Now, when you're talking about people that are, making money, working every day, whatever the deal is, those situations really does not happen. But I want you guys to remember this: there is no forensic audit for the mother or the custodial parent, because guess what? The state technically does not represent her. That's a misnomer. The state technically does not represent that person. The state is just there to cause mass confusion.
Well, how they get all that free help and have lawyers sitting across from you then, Donovan?
Exactly, but that's not their lawyer. That's what I'm saying. That's how messed up it is. The system is. Even though the state says we don't represent her, we know they do in her name. But if you wanted a forensic audit, you would have to, get your lawyer and, sue her, which would be impossible because you got to have standing to do it. And that's what it is. I always tell people, especially you ladies, if you have sons, and it's amazing how you ladies that have sons, you have a different perspective on the child support system. What I did with my sons is I took a day out of my time and I sat with my boys in the child support system for the day. And I pointed out what was happening to them. I said, you see that lawyer right there? Even though he doesn't represent her and she's not even in the court, look at how the state is enforcing the case against that young man who doesn't even have a lawyer. The worst thing you could do is not show up for child support court because you get default judge. But these are the type of idiosyncrasies a lot of us don't think about, because the state does not represent that woman technically, which makes it harder to get an audit.
I'm just reading some of these comments. I mean, I want to go back to somebody saying something about the taxes. I totally agree that if a father is or the non-custodial parent is paying child support, they should be able to file taxes. But a lot of times the custodial parent, which is pure greed, they'll say sometimes, unless you go to court and you have it mandated there and you it gets put in the order that every other year, you have to, rotate, I guess, the income tax filing and all of that. You don't have that in writing, then yeah, the non-custodial parent will be like, well, I need to file. I'm doing most of the work, but it's like the other parent, they're paying as well. They should catch a break as well. So I think that should just be law, that it's every other, year or whatever the case that it is rotated. Because a lot of times when you have a child, you get the child tax credit and you get, money back. That's the way it was anyway. I haven't been able to do that in so many years. It's ridiculous. So I don't even know at this point.
Yeah, who was that reality star that just got convicted for 4 years? She was doing that. She was claiming her sister's children and cousins' children and all that other stuff, is just doing the scam thing. And I'm not, like I said, you play hood games, you're going to get hood prizes. I'm not advocating for people to do that, but in the end, you might think you're getting away with it. In the end, you never do. I've never seen somebody prosper from doing it the wrong way.
Yeah, no, that's the hood hustle right there. Be very careful, because especially with Joe Biden in office, he making sure he catching everybody. Okay, you got to eliminate.
He put a 10-year legal extension on going after PP loan fraud. 10 years. So he won't even be in office. He's like, nope, we're going to go after.
I agree with that though. I agree with that. Every one of them, and I got homeboys that got it. Every one of them should go straight back to the pokey, or have to do community service for, I don't know, 5-6 years or something. Maybe not should go to jail, but you definitely should have to pay that money back. I got homeboys that got $40,000 and $80,000 and just came here to Vegas and, you know what I mean, went and bought cars, wrecked them, went and bought some Louis the 18th, 10, 15 bottles at, $1,200 a bottle, and just blew the money. So yeah, they need to go to jail, bro, for that.
And Max Julian, see how you doing. You say child support is not considered income. It is considered income, whether you're filing, you're trying to buy a house or credit, something like that, they do consider child support income. So just so you know. Let's see here. All right, let me skip down a little bit. And BJ, how are you doing? If I didn't already, welcome to the chat. He says, so in this, is anyone talking about the children? You know what I'm saying? Because that's who it is for. It's a supplement, though. It's not to totally take care of the child. It's a supplement. I have totally taken care of a child. In fact, I've totally taken care of 4 children. Okay, and God forbid, I have 1 biological child and 3 nieces and nephews that I took care of. And even if they join a sport alone, that could be, shoot, depending, it could be, thousands of dollars, depending on what sport or whatever it is that they're doing. And so, to think that a child support check, I would say an average child support check is completely taking care of a child is ludicrous. I mean, just the groceries alone for a child could be enormous. So it's a supplement. It's not designed to totally take care of that child. And I think a lot of people really just need to be educated on that. Well, my child support, I ain't going to, because that one was told to me with my daughter's father. Oh, he was so silly back then. Talking about, I'm not paying child support so I can pay your mortgage. I'm like, fool, that little bit of money that you would give me wouldn't even come close to paying my mortgage. So what is you talking about? You know what I mean? But that was what was in his head. He gonna be, and I'm like, and even if the child support that you never gave me help me with my mortgage, your daughter living here, why do you have a problem with that? Because there's plenty of times when you needed a little something, I gave it to you, never asked for it back. So why are you being so mean? So anyway, Marjorie said child support was 1 year for me after my divorce. All I asked was that my ex help with sports activities. See, there you go. I should have read that. Sports alone, that's a lot of money, right? You try to buy the kids some cleats or some spikes for track or something. Shoot, that they go to child support check. And Murad, you say, and they add on interest. Oh, you better believe it. A lot of people's child support, especially if they're behind, is I would say a lot of it, if not most of it, is interest. Jojo says, then you get your taxes took at the end right of the year. If you are behind, yes, they do take your taxes. If you do file and you get something back, sucker.
And you almost never catch up. I mean, that thing just follows you and follows you. And you got to think about this too, fellas. That's why, again, I'm not, advocating how you should do it. I was a victim of the system, and it jaded me so badly. But because of, how they do it, I don't even want to touch the thing anymore. I mean, dealing with, this is a part of the problem within our community, where you have this mistrust between men and women, and it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better.
So Will, you say the gal with my case said Texas has common law marriage and divorcing. Yes, but it's not just that. Oh, well, we live together and we're married now. No, it's a little bit more to it than that. You got to have stuff in your name. People have, trust me, I know all about this due to, I ain't gonna get into it because that was a whole mess. But anyway, you have to have stuff in your name. Other people have to know you guys were married. And so when I say stuff in your name, I mean like light bills, life insurance, so stuff, right? You can't just say, well, I just moved this chick in my house and that's my wife. No, it has to be a little bit more to it. So yeah, common law does exist in Texas, but it's not that cut and dry, if that makes any sense. Michael says, Demitri, I was the one who mentioned about claiming taxes. Okay, got you, for not missing child support payment. Yeah, so I hope that answers your question. BJ says Trump is prospering really well. Is he? Okay, so Jojo, he says, I only got 2 more years with my son. I'm throwing the party. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people, specifically men, throwing end of child support parties. So I guess that is a wonderful thing. I mean, child support is every month, right? And whenever you get paid, your wages get garnished. So if you've done it from a baby all the way until they were 18, that's quite a bit of money.
Right, and
I went to Hawaii for a week after my last payment. I thought something had happened. I thought they messed up on my paycheck, and I was looking at it, and it was so much money on there. I was like, I'm finna go spend this money before they take this back. And I was done.
Yeah, no, and we all experience that because you're so used to not seeing that money. And, as you get older, you make more money, whatever the deal is. The same thing happened to me. I'm out of the military, whatever. My son's graduating. All of a sudden, I kept seeing this big, $2,000, just drop in my account. And I'm like, wait, something's wrong. And unlike a lot of people, when that bank makes a mistake, I don't go take the money out and go spend it. So I went to the bank and they were like, yeah, they go, no, this is correct. Everything's fine. I called DFAS, the military thing, and I said, hey, what's going on here? They go, oh yeah, your child support stopped. I said, oh yeah, that's right. Now when I get that money, it's just extra money to have. I'm just like, wow, I don't even know what to do with it because I'm so used to living a certain amount of money without it. And now I'm just doing what I want to do.
I was looking up something really quick. USA. So
what I should have done was to throw the biggest stripper party I could with that first month's payment.
Hey Donovan, if you come out here tonight, we have something similar to that. You just a few hours away, bro. The party starts at like 10. If you get here, we having a lingerie party. You know what I mean? You only 3 hours away, bro. Come on out here. Everything's on me. You ain't got to worry about nothing.
And guess what? You gonna contribute to making some more baby daddies out there that got to pay some child support. So,
it's women. Listen, I told you where I shoot for. I shoot for the tonsils. So it's women that's allowing these men to get into between the leg area, the groin area. That's not where I shoot for. I don't shoot for the nether regions. No.
Well, if they open the door, why are you walking in? But anyway, let me. So they said the average child support payment in the U.S. is $5,150 per year, which boils down to about $430 per month. So that's what they're saying. What Google is saying, $430 a month on average. So again, if you take into account all the things that a child needs, $430 or $5,000 a year, that's not a lot of money.
I mean, what kind of kids are people raising that needs more than about $500 a month? I mean, like really, I'm talking. I'm sorry. I'm talking about actual needs. I'm not talking about wants. I'm not talking. I understand. All my kids played sports, so I was always running here and there and doing a little bit of everywhere. I'm talking about the actual need of the child.
Well, like I said, I raised, and I know that I've only raised a fourth of the children that you've raised, but four. And I will tell you, very easily you can spend $500 a month on a child, their needs, whether it's medical, whether it's braces, whether it's food, whether it's extracurricular events, whether it's school, they need clothes, they need materials for school. So that $500, especially if we're talking today's time, is nothing. Now, back then, when, back in the day, yeah, $500 might have been a lot, but today that $500 ain't nothing to raise a child. And then you got to factor into that too. They do take into account light bills, because if a child flicks on the light, that costs money. So $500.
Come on, Miss D. Come on, that's unfair.
It's not. How is that unfair?
Because once again, you're looking at this completely wrong. Every man knows, and you can ask Donovan, he's right here. If I'm paying child support, guess who pays all the insurance?
That's not always true.
It is 100. The person who is on child support carries the people on their insurance. It is always true. I've never not had.
Always true, because I'm telling you, I had the ability to have the insurance, and I had to carry the insurance. I would have done it anyway, but my daughter has always, I should say our daughter has always been taken care of medically and dental speaking, every way, shape, and form by me. Always.
Okay, you say he didn't have no job. You say he didn't have no job. I'm talking about someone who is gainfully employed, right? If you are a man and you are gainfully employed and you are on child support, when you go into that child support court, you have a list of things that you must do. I've been through it. Donovan's been through it. Donovan, if I'm wrong, please say I'm wrong, bro, because I don't want to just be talking out my backside on this one.
No, yeah, I mean,
Did you?
you're right. I would say
Yeah.
the non-custodial parent, in a lot of cases, they do have to pay medical care, but that's not always the case. Because what if the man is working, he doesn't have medical care or have the ability? Like a man could be like a temp or something like that. How the hell he gonna have medical care provided if he doesn't have it himself? So we got to look at that kind of stuff because, like you said, I know gainfully employed. But there's
Right.
a lot of people, especially in our community, that's not what you would call gainfully employed, where they're making, wait a minute, 40 plus 50, whatever. They have a full-time job that they get, full benefits and all that. That's not always the case.
Really, Miss D? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's the outlier. Because in my situation, because me and my youngest son's mom were both in the military, we were both adjudicated to hold him on our insurance. That's just what we had to do. Of course, the military was going to do it anyway. But
you ended up writing the check for child support. So, like you said, there's outliers. It's not just cut and dry. There's different levels to it. And, I like to on this show. I know because rarely is everything or anything black and white. It's or absolutes, right? There's different levels to it. So there's a lot of cases where a man or the non-custodial parent may not have the ability to have health care. And listen, I'm one of those people who pay for health care out of my pocket. So I know it ain't cheap because I don't work anywhere that I'm self-employed, put it that way. So I have to pay for my own medical insurance. So I know it's expensive. So there's a lot of people who have a job, but they are not afforded medical coverage to where they can even carry their child. So there's levels to it, is all I'm saying. Black America.
I don't agree with that at all. I think what you're saying is complete horse pucky. It's complete horse pucky. You act like the brothers out here. Okay, so I'm gonna say it like this. So can we agree on black men that are working in general make more than black women in this country that are working?
Yes, it is said that black men make about $47,000 a year and black women are about $39,000 a year on average.
Oh, okay. So if all of these black men that you're saying aren't gainfully employed and we're making more as black men than black women, like I don't even understand how you're starting off that this is now a bad faith argument. It's a bad faith argument
because you're leaving out some of the factors. A man or a woman, doesn't matter, could easily be making $47,000 a year and still not have medical coverage. That is a possibility. So, I hear what you're saying, but you got to include all of the other factors. It's not all cut and dry. It's not all absolute. I hear what you're saying, but I mean, we gotta factor in everything.
It's just us suckers that have jobs and are doing the right thing that get raked through the coals. We got to say it for what it is. Those of us that are suckers that worked and did the right thing according to what we're supposed to do, we're the ones that get raked over the coals, while the other people who half-ass stuff and don't do this, don't want to do that, they get away.
Your average logical thinking, how you doing? It says at one point, zero. I think it says at one point I was spending $300 a month on specialty sports and meds for my kid. Yeah, I mean, but people think you just feeding the child hot dogs and top ramen and and stitching up their clothes from year to year because you ain't spending no money. It's ridiculous. And like I said, I've actively raised children. I know it's sometimes it takes a small fortune to take care of them from year to year.
Sports is an extracurricular activity. Right. It is not necessary.
But you know what though? It still is money being spent. And I'm one of those parents because I grew up that way. I was always doing something. Me and all my siblings, all of my nieces and nephews, my daughter were always involved in an extracurricular activity. And for me, to hear a parent, whether it's a father or a child, say, well, they don't need to do that. You a cheap bastard. really,
Well,
because
no,
the
I have
moment,
a question.
because the minute your child ends up getting in trouble, whatever the case is, or not being productive in extracurricular activities, then it's going to be a whole other problem. But it's like somebody is going to have to pay that. Like I said, my daughter was involved in something from the time she was like 3 years old. And it cost money at almost everything she did, whether it was after school program, whether it was cheer. My daughter has danced professionally since she was 5. I had to pay for all of that. In fact, sometimes I taught. Y'all don't know I'm a trained dancer too. I taught classes so I could pay for all of her team costumes, the competitions that was fees involved.
Cliff and Ron, if they can get a free instructor, they'll take it.
But I was dog tired when after work I would go teach those classes so my daughter can go do all that stuff. And trust me, it was not cheap. It was like $900 a month for her to do.
It wasn't necessary.
Yes,
it wasn't necessary.
Yes,
it's not. It's something that you want to give. Listen, Miss D, hold on.
You wait a minute. I deemed it to be necessary because I wanted my daughter to learn how to do other things besides go to school, do homework, and come home. Now, I deemed it to be necessary. And
okay, fine. You paid for it. You wanted to do that crap. You paid for it. It doesn't make your daughter any better than anybody that she knows that didn't do it. My thing is, it's not a necessity. And if it's not a necessity, the other party should not have to pay for it because it's not something that's absolutely needed. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But you missed the point. I didn't say that it was something they had to pay for. I was just saying all of the things that a child needs and does. The average, you said now is $430 a month. That the $430 a month is a drop in the bucket for what the child needs and some of the things that they don't necessarily need, but that helps to cultivate them as people.
Let's get back to the actual need. See, that's what I'm saying. You keep talking about stuff like cheer and dance and ballet or whatever you want to do, and I dig it. I'm fine with that. But it's not, your kid is not any better in any way, shape, form, or fashion to anybody else as a value because she learned how to dance when she was young. I played sports. All my kids played sports. Now, if she's a professional dancer now, or if she's an acrobat now, or she does any of those things, it's just kind of like the fact that most people that went to school and have a degree.
Let me answer that question for you, brother. Let me answer that question for you. My daughter has danced professionally all over the goddamn United States, in addition to going to school when she was in the university. Wait, hold on now. Wait a minute now. Because you asked me, I'm telling you. She also danced at Cal State San Bernardino. And then when she went to school at San Francisco State, she danced there as well. And she was able to use those skills to teach dance and get paid for it. So the money that I invested in her to learn how to dance, when I'm talking about dance, I'm talking about ballet, tap, modern, Japanese, hip hop, and everything else you can, lyrical, all those classes that I taught her, she was able to parlay that into a job that paid her. Now,
is she doing it right now? This is what I'm saying. Most people that go to school and get degrees, most people, women, go to school and get degrees. They are not working in those degrees. Most people, hell,
wait. Now you didn't shifted the argument to hear the most women in degrees. We ain't having a conversation about most women in degrees.
I'm sorry about the women. No woman bashing. I'm sorry about the women. I'll take that shit back.
It's a red herring. It's a red herring at this point, to where you talking about women out in degrees and whether they did it or not. You asked me a question, I answered it, and then you move the goalpost. That's what you have done. And hold on, H. McDaniel, I put the link in the comment section if you want to click on here, so it's there for you.
Yeah, let me ask this question real quick. I agree that the custodial parent is in the seat to make all decisions and stuff. Not all decisions are, might not be agreed by the father. This is why I tell men all the time, if you are adjudicated to pay child support, that's it. Don't do anything else. Now, let me ask you this, D. if a man chooses and he's paying his child support and he doesn't send birthday gifts, because you hear a lot of women complain about, well, the man should do this and the man should do that and the man should, man should. And he's paying child support. Should he have to do all the extracurriculars if he doesn't want to? There's some fathers like me, I would do certain things, but there's certain things I wasn't going to do because I was paying such an exorbitant amount of money. So ladies, I want you guys to understand this. You can't have it both ways. You can't run the man down because he won't do the birthday thing or he won't do the Christmas thing or whatever. If he's paying child support, that's all he has to pay. So if you sign that child up for something extra, he doesn't have to participate. And this is the dual thing of the legal system when you get the government involved. You got to understand that. So when my son would do these extracurricular activities, his mother would come to me, well, Donovan, I think, he wants to play this. Okay, that's fine. Go ahead. I'm not paying, but you can go ahead and sign him up. You can go ahead and sign him up, but I'm not paying. And the court backed me on that. So it works both ways.
So yeah, and that happens where the mama is getting child support and she's asking the father to help with other stuff. And then I would also, or the vice versa, I would also venture to say that if she's asking, it's probably because the money that she is getting is not enough. And maybe she's hoping that he would help with the extracurricular activities because on average, $430 is going to other stuff. It may not be enough to cover the extracurricular activities. Are you obligated to do those things? I would imagine you are not obligated to do those things. But I tell you what, for the time that my daughter went to, now this is just me. I guess I'm an exceptional person, dope and dynamic, right? The time that my daughter went and lived with her father, she was 16 years old. She went to live with him for 6 months. And I sent my daughter, I didn't pay child support, but I sent her with a card, an ATM card. She had a, make account, and I made sure I put money in that account every week because I didn't want my daughter to go without anything that she wanted, not the needs, but the wants. I wanted her to have what she wanted. And even her father was like, why are you always giving her money? I said, because I don't want my child to not have what she needs. I don't care whether it's something for her hair, whether she want to go get herself something to eat, whether she want to buy herself some clothes, or whatever it is. I want my daughter to have what she needs. I don't never want her to ask you or anybody else for something she want and be told no. Now, that was just me. I could have said, well, you raising her, you taking care of her. I don't have to do nothing extra. I did not do that. I'm just saying that's just me. And so if somebody is asking you on the other hand, can you help me out? I know you're paying child support, but this child want to get in the theater and it's, this amount of money. Can you help me out? Yeah, you can say no, but had it been me, I'd be like, absolutely, it'd be my pleasure to help out with that. How much are you asking me for? Now, that would just be me. And Rashad, you say, what do the mother pay? The mama, well, let's say she's the custodial parent. You don't think she got to pay for a roof over the child's head? I mean, she gonna pay for one over her head anyway, but that counts as an expense. She got put gas in the car, food on the table. So there's expenses. So just to think that, the mom is sitting up there living greedy. Yeah, there's some women who's living greedy on the child support check, but that ain't the average. I mean, I think we just get lost in silliness. It's like we can't even have a real conversation. I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing is, like I said, that we're talking about us everyday suckers. You know how much I was paying per child? I was paying $1,600 per child. With that kind of money per month, and how am I supposed to eat? How am I supposed to live? How can I pay my rent? So when I hear women talk about, oh, that's cruelty to the child, and oh, this is that, when you don't know the whole situation. Let's say a guy, based on his pay, he's only paying a certain amount of money. Ladies, you got to look at it from both sides. Yes, I would love for my child to do this, this, and this. But if you kill the golden goose, your children can't even eat. So when I gave the example of my youngest child, she wanted the youngest child to go to Hampton University and live on campus, and she lived 4 miles away. Why am I going to throw away $10,000 for the next $40,000 over a 4-year period for a child that can live at home? And you could take that money, buy him a car and whatever else he's into. But see, that's what I'm saying. I understood it. And that's why I told her, no, I'm not going to do that. Because if you want to do it, you do it. And she did it. She paid it on her own. How am I the dirtbag at that time? You got to look at it from both sides, depending on what the situation is.
I mean, I get it. And H. McDaniel, I see you. Michael, let me please bring you back. I want to talk to people who have child support issues. I know you do not have any children, so please let me bring you back at another time. H. McDaniel, I see you. Yeah, you good like that? You want to bring you up, or you want to block your face out? You good? Okay, I'm gonna bring you up right now.
Hello.
Hey, how are you? I think this is the first time you've clicked the link, right?
I know, yeah.
Well,
How you
welcome.
doing?
I'm doing
Hello,
fab.
Donovan. Okay, so I want to make this quick. Okay, as quick as I can. It's kind of a long story, but okay, so my son, his girlfriend, um, she lived in Juarez, Mexico. And that's right on the other side of El Paso, Texas. So he had been seeing her. They before he had the children, the twins with her, he was taking care of her, all of her 5 kids, and her sister's daughter. And my son is a truck driver, so he's been driving trucks for 19 years. He's 50, and so uh, he there's somebody else there. Now she's Mexican. My son is black. There's a white guy there named Chris. Now she always telling me, well, me and Chris, we're just friends, and I never crossed that line. We're just good friends. But every time my son moved her, and after he had his twins, his 2 boys, he moved them to the States. Okay, and so he got an apartment for her. It's supposed to be for her and him, and the 2 boys, the twins. But Chris is there too. Why is Chris there? My son is on the road a lot, so he's gone like a month or 2 months because he's a truck driver. He's all over the United States, and he always sending her money, so she don't have to pay nothing. He moved her over to the States, in El Paso, so he pays the rent in the apartment. He pays the car payment. He got a nice truck, so he pays the truck payment and the insurance. He pays everything. He pays the telephone, the electricity bill. He buys food, clothes. He pays everything because she's not working. She's not even a citizen. So my son, every time he comes back. Whenever he has his days off, whenever he comes over to the apartment, she like, what are you doing here? Why are you here? He's paying the rent. She has no money. What you talking about? Why are you here? You should have just stayed in your truck. But Chris is there, the white boy. He's there. And he's always there. And he's laying up on the couch just like he lived there. He even got his mail coming over there. So I know it's something going on between him and her. See, my son, he wasn't born a fool. I didn't raise him to be a fool. He chose to be a fool. So anyway, uh, I kind of figured he had cancer because he had told me back in 2021. And I told him, and I thought it was COVID at the time. So he said he called me and told me he was having a hard time swallowing. So I said, well, gargle your throat with warm water and salt, and and then get some NyQuil extra strength. And then he kept calling me saying he can't swallow. He's having a hard time swallowing. So I said, well, go to the doctor. You might have COVID. It took him from September 2021 to July 1st to find out that he got cancer. And by that time, it's stage 4 cancer.
Oh no.
And so he's always giving her money. He paid, and he's always sending money. And I tell him, don't give her all your money. Why are you giving her all your money? You can give her some money for her and the kids, and you can pay the bills and what. But always keep some money for yourself. Don't give her the whole thing. And and so anyway, he oh, so let me go back to the twins' birthday was in June, and I called him because he never misses their birthday. He makes sure he's back at home during their birthday. So he called. I called him. I said, "Are you there in El Paso?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick. Mama, I'm sick." He said, and he couldn't hardly talk because he was so sick. So I told him to go to the hospital. He said, "I'll go tomorrow. I'm too sick right now." So I said, "Well, let me speak to her because she was there." And she just probably sat there looking at him like, "I would just wish you'd die or something." So I called her, and she would answer her telephone. She didn't know it was me. She would answer her phone, so I called my grandson. Now I got the boys are 11. They had just turned 11. I only talk to one of them because the other one is autistic, so he don't really talk. So I usually talk to just that one. And so I called him. I said, "Is your mother there?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Let me speak to her." Then he comes back to the phone. She busy. I said, is she really busy? And she told you to tell me she's busy. And he go, "Yeah." So I know she was right there telling them. So I'm not going to, argue or say things to my grandson, not to the kid. So I just, because the next day was their birthday. So I told him, I said, "Well, just you guys have a happy birthday and I'll call you tomorrow and I'll send you some money, okay?" The next day I called. He told me that she had left with the boys. She's been going ever since on their birthday and took the birthday cake. He was still sick on the couch. She just left him there to die. He had to call the ambulance on himself. So he went to the hospital because he was really sick. And they kept him in there for 3 days. He had, because he couldn't swallow, he hadn't drank any water in 2 days. He hadn't ate no food in 2 days. He was dehydrated. So he started messing with his kidneys, and so they repaired his kidneys and stuff. And then they did the endoscopy and all that, and then he got the results a week later, and they found out he had cancer. I guess he said throat, but I don't know if it was throat or oral because it's at the base of his tongue in the back by his throat. It's at the base.
Well,
So
have you had a chance to see your son?
yeah, I went up there to take care of him because he had nobody to take care of him. But she had left. She was gone. She don't care. All she wanted was money. And every time he give her money, you know what she buys with it? And she's from Juarez, Mexico. It's one of the poorest countries in the world. But she want to act like she's from North Hollywood or Beverly Hills and where. So every time he give her money, you know what she does? She buy her Gucci handbags, Gucci shoes, and I know that she's spending the money on her and Chris. Chris laying up in the house in the apartment that my son is paying rent for. He's living there. He got his mail coming over there.
What's
And
your
oh man,
Miss
yeah. And
Miss McDaniels? What is your son's prognosis? What are the doctors saying? I know you say it's stage 4, but what are his
he
what are they
stays
saying?
okay. So now he was going through his treatment. I'm trying to make a long story short. He was going through his treatment, and so he finished his chemotherapy. And so he was doing his radiation. He had 2 more sessions, I think, to go. And when he went into the last Monday of last week, this past Monday, 'cause I stayed up there a month and I came back. And then my daughter went up there to take care of him because she was nowhere around. And so she don't care. She don't care. So anyway, she stayed up there a month. And then when she came back Sunday, that next day when he drove himself to the doctor for his radiation because he had like 4 more days to go. This was last Monday, and they couldn't take his blood pressure. They couldn't find it. He had lost a lot of weight. He was When I was there, he was 110 pounds. When my daughter was there, he went down to 100 pounds. And then when they put him in the hospital last Monday, he was only 90 pounds.
Jesus.
And so he had, when I was there, I went to the hospital with him when they put a G tube in his stomach so I could feed him through the G tube. So
Um,
even though he could still swallow, because he had a little hole left, he could still swallow. And, the most, I would, he didn't want me to do it, but he knew how to do it. Feed himself through the G tube and then flush it with water. And then I would tell him to drink some water too, just so the doctor wanted him to keep drinking so he could exercise his throat so he could keep swallowing. He wanted me to keep swallowing. So anyway, when he went to the hospital, the reason he went to the hospital Monday because they could not take his blood pressure. They couldn't find it because he was so skinny. He had lost so much weight. They couldn't find his blood pressure, and then so they put him in the hospital Monday, and they needed. So Tuesday, they called my daughter and said he needed a blood transfusion because he was had lost much weight. His blood was really thin. That's why they couldn't find his blood pressure. So they did a blood, this was Tuesday, then the next day they did a blood transfusion. We wanted to make sure the blood was clean, before you do that. But they assured us that it was check, 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 and double check, triple check. So, so he's in the hospital now, and he's gaining, because they said they got something to feed him, they can make him gain. So he's gained 10 pounds, 10 or 11 pounds since he's been there. But he's still in the hospital, and they said they're trying to get his
Well,
white cells, blood cells up. But the reason because this has got something to do with child support. My son has been giving her money all this time, all this time. He's been, she's not working. She's not even from these studies. She wasn't even a citizen. My son was paying everything. Just when he moved them over here, it was just her and him, the two boys. The white boy Chris come along too. Now Chris sitting, now she done turned the boys against my son. She done turned them against me. And then she got the son, my grandson, calling the white boy Chris his daddy.
you know what though?
Because my son was he stopped working because he's too sick to work. And he went to when he was diagnosed with cancer, he asked the doctor if he could work for another month. They said, yeah, he sent him a note, yeah, he could work for another month because he had bills to pay. She was already gone. So he worked for another month, and he gave her $6,000 in June. And I think after that, I mean in July. No, it was in June. It was in June, May or June. And then he gave her another $600. But she still wanted him to send her money. Before he went to the hospital, before his treatment started, it's a long story. He had to pay $6,000 to get to the dentist. He had to get all his teeth pulled out. But anyway, let me see, oh God, I don't even know what it's
well, let me jump in there, Ms. McDaniel. First, I want to acknowledge, the pain that you're going through. Obviously, the pain that your son is going through. None of this is easy. I lost my mother to cancer, so I have seen what that god awful disease can do to people. So it is very devastating. Just with that alone, watching somebody battle that. I also want to just say that I'm sorry that happened to him in regards to the mother of his sons. But I would say for you, maybe you could relay the message to him, as his mother. Don't worry about any of that right now. Don't worry about any of that.
That's what I told him. He need to concentrate on getting better. That's what I told him.
Yeah,
I said, don't even worry about what she's doing.
Let it. And when I say let it go, I'm not saying forget about his sons forever.
Yeah.
I'm saying
Yeah.
let it go, because right now he's fighting two battles. He's battling with her over what's going on with his sons and the guy Chris, and he's also battling for his life. So right now, the battle for his life is more important, because if he's not around, God knows what is going to happen with the boys or any of that kind of stuff. And I know it's very difficult. Sometimes we come across horrible people who pretend they mean us good, but then in the long run, they really don't. So I don't know what happened to Miss McDaniel. She clicked off. So maybe she's still listening, but yeah, to really tell him to focus on his health right now. All that other stuff, it's going to be what it's going to be. But as I saw a couple of people in here saying, stress is also a cause of cancer, and it will actually make it worse. And I would imagine something like that is extremely stressful, to realize that the woman that you thought loved you doesn't really love you. Plus, it sounds like she's moved her side dude up into the house. I mean, let's call it for what it is. Chris ain't just there, keeping her company. He's there for other reasons. And now that, the boys are calling him daddy. So she obviously had other motives. And maybe, as I see you guys saying too in the comments, maybe Chris and the baby mama was running a hustle from the beginning, getting a bag out of them. $6,000 at a time. That's a lot of money, especially if she's running around buying Gucci bags. So yeah, just focus on him getting well. And Miss McDaniels, if you're still listening, help your son to get better, so that way he can pick up that battle when he can. What a horrible situation. So yeah, there's a lot of that's going on, and not to be funny or anything like that. Of course, you guys know this is not the first, and I'm seeing you guys' comments, so don't think that I'm ignoring you. This is not the first conversation that we've had about child support on here. I would say it's probably the 11th conversation that we've had about child support. So I say all that to say child support really is avoidable if we are proactive. You know, I get it. There's sometimes in marriages where people you really thought was going to work out and then something happened and then they trying to get you for a bag or whatever. But, you know, just be proactive. I tell you guys all the time, I only have one child, biological. I want one biological child because I don't want to go through all the nonsense of, you know, not being married to the daddy. And I just didn't want that really for me and my daughter. So I just chose not to go that route. But we have choices. That being on child support is, we still have a lot of control over that. And I'm not talking about the weird stuff that go on. Somebody put a baby on you that really wasn't your baby. You ain't seen them since 1992. And I ain't talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about, you know, you was with somebody and you the daddy or the mama or whatever the case is. You have a choice in the matter. So, and then the other part of that too is, in some cases, child support is needed. I mean, you can't just say, well, the guy or the woman, oh, I ain't got it. Which you can't get blood from a turnip. You better make it do what it do, because there's a lot of people who don't get child support that make it do what it do. But that doesn't absolve the person that owes the child support of their responsibilities. The other thing is, you can't mandate that the non-custodial parent be there physically. Like, no court can say, you have to spend this amount of time with them. They can't do that as of yet, but they can mandate that you pay for that. And I think that you should have to pay. Now, if you're not going to pay willingly, then yeah, I think a garnishment is necessary. And then for the custodial parent, if the person is trying to work with you, and let's keep it a buck, oftentimes it's the man that's the non-custodial parent. If he's trying to work with you, work with him. Don't try to keep bumping the dude over the head for more and more money. You know, he ain't got it. Now he eating top ramen, which is what Donovan had to do a few times to get a couple extra jobs.
Thank God for the military chow hall. I don't know how I would, and I'm already a skinny guy, but thank God for that military chow hall, because I would have been done. I mean, my mind was just so bad. If it wasn't for the fact that I was on a contract, I would have quit. I would have just quit and just been done with it. But ladies, we got to think about that, or that other parent. Are they eating? Men, think, you know, at the end of the day, is my child eating? And like I said, even though I'm pissed off about it, or I was pissed off about it at the time, the point is, not one of my baby mamas, only got two, can say, I did not put the child before myself. As parents, that's what we're supposed to do. I brought the child in here. I'm going to do my part to the best of my ability to make sure this child is clothed, ate, and all that other good stuff. They can't say that I didn't do that. Now, was I there physically? No, I wasn't. However, I was there financially. So they can never say. That's why when my boys come to my face, talk about what they didn't have, and, oh, Dad, you weren't there. Nigga, did you open the refrigerator and was there some food in there? Was there clothes on your back? How many of you guys in our generation remember them sugar sandwiches you had to get, or them syrup sandwiches?
Oh, no, we got jam sandwiches where you jam two pieces of bread together.
That was it. Right.
Man, sugar and butter when we was young. Come on now. Sugar and butter. Toast with peanut butter on it.
Yeah, you better hope that the bread was the honey wheat. That way you can eat the honey wheat straight. You know, you can eat that, or Hawaiian bread if your mom or dad brought that home. But see, and that's another thing. When I talk to younger people, they don't know what it's like to open a refrigerator and there's nothing in there. I mean, in general, you know what I mean? There's nothing in. They don't know what that's like. So if my sons ever came to me talking about, oh, Dad, you didn't do this, do that, they're getting a fist right in their chest. It's as simple as that. Because dad sacrificed. And I think there are a lot of good dads out there that do what they can do. Ladies, unfortunately, you can't be mad if the man doesn't want to do no more than what you put the white man on him to do. You know, you can't have it both ways. If he's paying his child support, that's a good dude. But, oh, he ain't doing birthdays. I'm not letting you see your child. Because that's wrong. That's wrong. You took him to the child support system, and that's what you're going to get. And then my second child, I'm talking my business. My business is this. I was paying her $1,650, which was what I was paying the first child, because you know how you women are about one child's getting more than the other. I wanted to be equal, right? $1,650 from the child was born, not court ordered. It was between me and her. If she had taken me back to court, she would have paid less. I mean, I would have paid less and she would have gotten less, which is another reason why she couldn't come to me talking about, well, I need money for, I mean, she came to me for that, but she didn't make a big deal if I said no, because I feel I was paying her well more than what she needed to do. Ladies, my point is this: don't kill the golden goose. A lot of us men, especially when we're young, we get upset at the fact that because I'm paying this exorbitant amount of child support, I'm about to be evicted out of my home. I'm not even motivated to go to my job because I'm not eating. I'm not doing this. All I'm saying is don't work with, like Demitri said, work with each other. You work with each other enough to make the damn baby. You know, work with each other. Don't kill the golden goose. I know things don't work out, but don't kill the golden goose. That at the end of the day.
Yeah, and there's actually levels to it. I mean, there's a lot going on, you know, and my brother, you guys know my brother, he has talked about it before. You know, he has child support issues. If I told y'all, I ain't gonna tell y'all his story. I'll let him tell y'all his story. But yeah, it's a doozy. I'm telling you, it's one for the records. It really is. I mean, even
she's still trying to stick it to him after the fact.
Yeah, and all his children are 18. I mean, it's a mess. But gosh, she saw him, you know, go on vacation, get a new pair of shoes. Well, why he not, you know, all this other stuff. I'm like, man, you don't want the man to do nothing. He can't buy himself a new pair of shoes. He can't.
I think that's all of us, though. I think all of us that have been on child support have those super egregious stories. So it's not just your brother. And that's why I told you need to go sit down there and really look and see what happened to those men. Because it's not just him.
But trust me, I know that y'all think y'all think I'm really sitting up here green. I know what's going on. Trust me, I do. I know plenty of people, especially men. And I know some women, but mostly men, who have been raked over the coals via the child support system due to a greedy baby mama or whatever the case is. Like I said, see him get a little something extra. God forbid to get a new girlfriend. Oh my God. Oh, what, you spending some extra money on her? Oh, well, I'm taking you. So trust me, I've seen it all. I'm just saying, I could just really speak from my point of view because I have been on child support, if you will. Again, I never paid it. But I have been in the system erroneously. So I can kind of speak to that. But damn, you know, as I said, a lot of this is it's avoidable. It really is. We need to, you know, start making better choices in humans that we decide to listen. First of all, I'm one of those people, and maybe I'm telling y'all my business too much. I just don't be hopping in the bed with any and everybody. I don't care. I'm not finna do it.
What you saving it for, D?
I guess I'm saving it now for when I go on.
Yeah, that just means you're approved. And I'm not talking bad about you. You just approved. Like, so I mean, so don't ever say, oh, I'm single because of it. You single because you're not letting nobody slide in them cheeks. Like no man wants to pay for anything that he can't test drive. Like I'm not test drive. I'm not buying it if I can't test drive it, man.
Okay. Can anybody go test drive a Rolls Royce? No.
Not really. It depends on what your money status is.
I'm a Rolls Royce.
If your credit is good enough, you can go drive a Rolls Royce. But a 52-year-old Rolls Royce, yes, they want somebody. They want somebody to drive that joint. That's not in mint condition. It has dents. It has dents.
Wait a minute. A 52-year-old car, especially a Rolls Royce, is a classic, baby. Everybody don't have one. You would never ever. It's rare that you would come across one. So I take that as a compliment. But yes, you are 100% right.
And this is why our women are single. This is it. This is it. Y'all think that the Lord only made. You think the Lord only made you. The Lord made a bunch of women that turn 18 like you every day. Oh my God.
You're right. You are 1,000% right. But I ain't like every woman. I ain't like every 18-year-old woman. And I'm not going to be treated like no trampoline by nobody. And you're right. I'm approved. I was having a conversation with my sister today. She goes, wow, I didn't realize it's been that long for you. And I'm like, it has. You know, but I ain't tripping or whatever the case is because like I said, listen, at this age, and you say this is why women are single. Listen, as a 52-year-old woman, I want to impress upon women and men. This is not just for the women. This is for the men too. Why are you giving something so precious away to just any and everybody, especially when you're 52? You know, when you was 22, it was cute. But when you're 52, it's pathetic that you allowing yourself to be treated like a trampoline, letting every time Dick and Harry get a spin for their little 2 minutes and all that other stuff. No. You got to have the good credit to, go and test drive that Rolls Royce. And we as people should see ourselves as Rolls Royces. Now, if you want to be treated like a Yugo, then you be treated like a Yugo, where any and everybody will, no matter what kind of credit, you go to drive time. If you want to be a car at drive time, you be a car at drive time. But me, ain't no car at drive time. I want to go be on one of those luxury lots, because I've been on some luxury lots before where hello, welcome to Lexus or, Mercedes. Let us know if you need anything. We'll be right in there. If you see something you like, come and let us know. Now, when you go on Honda, you got 52 car salesmen. Hey, I got a car for you. Come get a car. Come on. That's the difference, right? So where the most
why would I just got a question. Why? Yeah. And this is no slight against you, because like I said, but why would you guys have a thought process like that? Like, I'm a man, Donovan's a man. We are buying the car, okay? But unless we are looking for something, unless we are 100, we're not looking for something 50. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna say 70, 65-ish. So it's like, why? Donovan's a good-looking 50-something-year-old man, but yeah, but women his age are going to be more difficult to deal with in his age and his range. And you guys feel like not that you're owed something, but that you're better and you don't want to do the Cheesecake Factory or whatever the case may be. And then you guys also complain about other things. So I want, since you are one of those women who I see, why do you feel like you are so much better than actually what we see you are? Not saying you're not a good person. I'm just saying, why would you feel like you're so much better than what the market, me and Donovan and other 50-year-old men being the market? Why would you see yourself so much better than what we are willing to do for you?
Y'all gonna make me get spicy tonight. And I said I was not gonna get spicy tonight.
That's a good question. And that's a good question.
It's actually not really a good question, because if I was trying to be in the market where Donovan and Black America are, then that question would apply to me. But I'm not in y'all market, because I kind of know what y'all market is, okay? And I'm far better than what's in y'all market. So again, I do not ascribe to this nonsense that some people on the internet, because I actually live most of my life off of the internet. I don't subscribe to the stuff that's going on the internet, the wall and the value as a woman has decreased because you a certain age and all that. I'm gonna tell you right now that my value has not decreased. I don't have a shortage of no man or men, rather, I should say, trying to get with me. But I am very selective about who I choose to keep company with. I will not be jumping in the bed with
that part right there. Why are you so selective? That part right there.
Because listen, I'm an eagle. I don't hang out with chickens, okay? Eagles fly high above it all. Whatever.
No. You're a lioness. You don't hang out with hyenas.
Whatever that hierarchy is. That's why, because if I was like the chickens that you be talking to, then yeah, I be, pecking at everything indiscriminately and all that. But I'm an eagle. I do not run with buzzards. That's why. Next question.
It's not. I still didn't get an answer. You gave me an answer. I just hate the answer that you gave, because Ms. D is actually not definitive. Like, you are not a super bad looking woman, right? But you should be, if you want a man, right? you should be able to have a decent man. But because of your standards or the lane that you think you're in, you won't have a man.
You know what though?
And
If women, and I'm gonna, because y'all see, y'all be backwards talking and walking and all kind of stuff. On one hand, y'all talking about women set the standard and all this other stuff or whatever. But then when me as a woman tell other women that we should have standards, because I believe that if when women start raising their standards, then men are going to have to comply. When I say women, I mean from all ages and walks of life. We start raising our standards, then y'all going to have to, act accordingly. But yeah, as long as you guys,
who says women set the standard?
well,
I don't think you have it right.
no, wait. As far as I'm concerned, me personally, nobody else has jurisdiction over what standards I set for myself. And as I said, the standards that I set for myself is that I'm not going to be treated like no trampoline and let everybody have a jump on me. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, if a lot of women set the standard and say, hey, I like you and everything like that, but let me make, and y'all too, y'all got to have standards too. But as a woman, let me see if you cut the mustard, if you somebody I really want to be spending time with, let alone letting you jump all up on me. See, the problem is a lot of times we let people treat us like a trampoline before we even realize if we want to spend some time with them or not. That is backwards. Now, I will tell you that I've always been this way. You're not going to hear nobody out there talking about Demitri was a thought. She was getting it. You're not going to hear nobody out there saying that about me. Now, I'm not judging nobody else, but I have always been that way. And, for me, I have to have a connection with you before I just jump into bed with you. And I also know that oftentimes, and I'm from what I understand, people having sex with people they calling their boyfriend or girlfriends. It's like, are they really? Yeah, are you basing them being your boyfriend or girlfriend because y'all just have a good time for 2 minutes? Or are you attributing other things to them being your boyfriend or girlfriend? So we need to actually figure out what it is we're talking about. But again, you don't get to set the value on me. I do. And I ain't trying to be out there with every man. I'm just trying to be with one.
But in order to get one man, you're gonna have to be out there and be available. You're not what I'm telling you is, Misty, you're not available for a man to pick you. So you're all, no, you're not. Your standards are as a 52-year-old woman or overboard. Can I say that?
Like what? Where should I be? Where should I be available at?
What do you mean? Where should you be? You should be available. Every man that talks to you, you should be trying to get his number and vet him appropriately. Every man, because that's your market now. Well, not that 24-year-old boy. Like, I wanted to smack the shit out of him last week, coming up reading you that poem. I wanted to reach through that phone and beat the dog mess out of him. Ooh.
Why you hating? Why you hating on him?
Because you're old enough to be his mama. He need to be at least trying to he need to be trying to at least say, can he rub on your daughter cheeks? Not you. These young men that's not getting any women out here. It is so depressing that they are trying to knock off you old people from the herd.
America, let's and hold on a second. Your average logical thinking, thank you so much for the donation. Love and appreciate you. Said if a man treats us right, we will rock his world, but he has to earn it. Y'all go for these easy ones and she ends up lacking value, etc. Then y'all crying. Hello. Damn, I should have said what I was gonna say because I forgot. I know one thing I was gonna say, maybe to come back to me because I don't remember what you said at this point. My daughter's 30, but she ain't let nobody jump up and down on her like no trampoline either. Because I taught her, to have some respect for herself. Also, I do not have any grandchildren. As I always tell y'all, don't ever ask me about a grandchild before you ask me about a son-in-law. My daughter knows that. You need to get a son-in-law for me, a husband for yourself, and then y'all go off and y'all have some children. Because you're not going to turn me into the baby daddy. Because unfortunately, that's what a lot of times our children do. They turn us, into the baby daddy. Oh, mama, I need you to watch the child so I can do A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. That 24-year-old that came on there last week, You talking about it's pathetic. He trying to knock down older women or whatever the case is. Well, maybe if y'all would leave the women they age alone, he would have a better chance of picking him a woman that's just for him. But as long as you and you know, and
Can I
all
say something?
wait,
Can I
let
say
me finish.
something?
Can I finish? As long as you and your homies is running through the 24-year-old women, talk about, oh, you know, that this, that, and the other, we need to mold them and all this other stuff, then yeah, he's probably not gonna have a lot of women to choose from. But maybe if you start messing with women your age, then that young guy won't have to come on here and shoot his shot.
Okay, now can I say something?
Yes, you may.
All right, so now I don't like 20-some-year-old women, right? You got it. My cutoff age is like 33, 34. All right. Because I mean, I got kids that are that old. I'm like, I can't be, you know. So uh uh so I women his age don't like him because he was pathetic. Okay. Once again, it's no reason.
He
We
said
was
he
talking
didn't like
about
them. He said he likes women 40, 45 to 55. So he said that's his preference.
when men say that, it's because we can't obtain you. So we'll say, hey, yeah, I don't like her because I can't get her. So that's why it's a preference. You older women, now if he go over to Jamaica or somewhere or Africa, it's gonna be a bunch of older women coming over there trying to get with him because that's what women do. Older women do is go over there and try to get a young man. But over here in the States, you guys don't do that because you guys don't want to be looked at strange. All the women aren't like Cher and Madonna. Most of you women have a little bit of morals about you when it comes to knocking down or letting one of these old dudes knock you or young dudes knock you off. When you're so weak, and I'm going to use like I say, when it comes to men, I speak tough about men. When you're so weak and you can't punch on your own weight class, which are the women in his age range, and you have to cut the weak ones from the herd. That's why he has to do that. And I heard him speak before, but I didn't say nothing. I thought he might have been on the spectrum somewhere. But it's not a problem. But you still, hey, don't look at me like that. But you still have to, you still have to have a certain way about you as a man. And we was talking about Kevin Samuels. It's still things that you need to do as a man and present yourself. I didn't agree with everything Kevin Samuels said. I He had some good things with colognes and stuff like that, but you have to present yourself as a man. Everybody always think it's so many different ways to be a man. It's only one way to be a man. It really is. And what I seen in him, and he's 24, like he's behind the curve right now.
Lord have mercy. Black America, you just never cease to amaze me. Honestly. Um, I mean, damn. There was just so much to be said there. I mean, you pretty much threw a blanket over everything. There's only one way to be a man. And first of all, let me tell you something. The women I know that at my age is not going to be fooling with nobody who is that young. Just not. I don't really know of any woman who is cool with because that's significantly younger. And I see you guys talking about the women that you guys like to mess with are 32, 33, somewhere around that age. Well, that age range is still closer to him than it is y'all. So, again, I just kind of think that's problematic. Y'all dipping up into the age range that it would be suitable for him. Y'all talk about women are delusional. I think it's delusional for a man to talk about I only want to be with a woman that's, or my preference is a woman that's 20 something or 30 something. What is it, 20 something years younger than you. I don't know. To me, that's a little bit delusional. But yeah, I don't know. Angela says men over 40 years old complain too much. I like the mentality and physicality of young men. Black America, we don't have to go to Jamaica to get a younger lover. Yeah, and that's true too. I've actually heard a lot of women say that men over a certain age are crotchety, just grumpy, complain all the time. It's like, golly, the hell wrong with you, man? So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of women too who's like, yeah, give me somebody who's young, who's fun, who ain't not tonight, baby. Sound like he about to croak over and die. I don't know. Let's see here. Thank you once again. And your average logical thinker says, I pity anyone taking dating advice from Black America. Just observe the fruits of someone's labor and go from there. Wow. Willie says, I guess you king of your pride. Big ups. Felicia, you say most women did not get invited to a vacation for long. The independent woman also. So, brother, invite that girl to a paid vacation, mostly their husband to be paid before them, otherwise themselves. Says most women don't get invited to a vacation for long. There's a lot of women that get invited on. Where y'all getting y'all source of information? Y'all acting like once a woman hits 35 years old, she just put out the
You
pasture.
you act like we don't date women, Miss D. We
No,
date
man,
women in real life, in America for the last since I was 10 years old or 8, been looking at panty lines. You remember when we were young, you looking at the panty lines and popping the bra on the back. We date women. We know what we talking about. It's not just a couple of guys. Now it's just you can hear it collectively and you don't believe it. I don't know why you don't believe it. Is what my problem is.
I actually talk to other men outside of the internet. I do talk to men in real life, okay? And I also talk to older men. Y'all better check my resume.
You said older men. There you go. That's your market. Older man ain't shit.
You are an older man. Whether you believe it or not, you are.
Yes, I am. I am a older man, but I'm not older than you. If you're talking about a man in your age range.
You in my age range. You are in my age range. You are 50. Well, when is your birthday?
What year or what month?
When is your birthday?
73, July.
Okay, so you in my age range?
I know. I said that. That's what I said. But you're too. I understand that, but I'm talking about as far as a man in your age range. If you're talking about somebody in your age range, are you having any luck with men in your age range or men that are older than you? That's what I mean.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm just saying okay to myself. I'm not saying nothing else.
I mean, damn. Like I said, I don't. Hey, how you doing, Sister Shirley? Let me see. I'm just going down to these comments. Boy, I tell you, Black America, you ooh. Will you say, I need to pour a drink? I need to pour a drink 14.
Man, I'm trying to get her to open up, y'all, and go out on a date and stop talking so damn much. Like she doesn't understand. She doesn't understand that men in her age range, we don't like you guys to. It's not that we want you dumb, but we don't want you to be so smart to where you feel like you're overpowering the whole room. You know what I mean? Like you can be as smart as you want to, but all of the pushback, all of the yip yap, like I don't know if men really dig that.
First of all, listen, I am not ever going to make apologies for being an intelligent woman. Now I know y'all like dingbats, but I'm gonna tell you what.
I didn't say you couldn't be smart. I didn't say you couldn't be smart, Miss D.
I am not overpowering. I'm overpowering on this show because I am running a show. But most people who know me would tell you that that is not who I am, especially in a relationship. Now, the problem is, from what I have seen, I'm not attributing this to all men that are with younger women, and some of them are dingbats. It's all fun and games when you get with a dingbat until she can't help you do nothing. And guess who y'all call? Hey, smart woman, how you doing? Oh, I have a question. I have a dilemma. I have this. I have that. Now, us intelligent women will be a cold piece if we say, go ask your dingbat. Go ask your younger woman to help you with those things or whatever the case is, right? So, as I said, for me personally, I only need one man. I'm not trying to impress all of the men's out there. Just one. That's all. And any man that is fortunate enough, yes, I said fortunate enough to be with me is going to, like, they're gonna be in heaven. as it is said that a woman should be for a man, right? A woman should be a heaven. And in order for that woman to be the heaven, the man also has to do his part. Okay. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, y'all going to be with your little dingbats. Not all the young women are dingbats. There's some pretty smart ones out there, but y'all go right ahead with that. But just don't call us when the dingbat can't help you do nothing. Okay. Because you can't hardly do nothing your damn self. You got two dingbats together. Because let me stop before I get in trouble. Uncensored truth. Will I date a bus driver? I absolutely will date a bus. Listen, I'm not.
You dated a truck driver. Damn, you can't get any lower than that.
I would date a bus driver because I know he going to line A, then he coming back, and he gonna drive that route all day long. I could get on the bus if I want to. Hey, baby, guess what? I'm not wearing any panties or whatever. Oh, my daddy probably watching Daddy. You didn't hear what you thought. I heard. But I would date a bus driver, but I would not date a truck driver. I was married to one for 10 whole months. And let me tell you, I wouldn't recommend no woman date no truck driver. I just, if you like your sanity, don't do that. But listen, one thing about me, I'm not one of those women that's like, oh, he got to be making all this money, blah, blah, blah. Because I also know that there's a lot of men who make a lot of money and who don't treat no woman right. See, I'm more interested in the man treating me right with dignity and respect. And I could do the same for him. And we can merge our little 2 cents together and we can make something out of that. But she could be a bus driver. He could be a janitor or whatever. I don't really care about that. I care about how you are as a person and how you are as a person to me. So yeah, I would date a bus driver. I don't know if y'all know, but bus drivers be making some skrilla. Okay, they make a little bit of money out there.
And there are some players, because some of our friends that are very attractive and beautiful, these bus drivers scooped them up, used and abused them though, but scooped them up.
Stupid. See, listen, I ain't say nothing. No, for real, Tori, how you doing? Come on now. If y'all know some of these men out there that date younger women, if y'all know them to be dingbats, put a thumbs up or a yes or something in the chat, because we know that. I mean, come on. Y'all want these younger women to do what Glow the Dean and them can do. That the younger woman is like, what temperature do you
we absolutely don't. We absolutely don't want them to do what Glow the Dean do.
Yes,
Actually,
you do.
Actually, the way men are wired, we value legacy. We go after young women. Not that we want children because we're in the modern age, but men value legacy. And when you're younger at that age, women are stronger. And that's why most women have children in their early 20s and stuff like that, because they're most strongest to do it. It's more dangerous when they get older. But men value legacy. And so that's why back in the day, a lot of our grandparents and stuff came from 12, 13. In my case, my mom's the oldest of 12. My dad's the second oldest of 27. And, and that's what it is. We value legacy. And an older woman who's past her childbearing years can't do that.
So all y'all really care about is her.
That's not saying you don't have, and so that's not saying you don't have value as a person. Okay,
I'm glad you clarified that, because what I heard is just pop out some children for me.
Right. So I want to clarify that, because Donovan, he said it, but I'm not woman bashing today. It's Sunday, so I'm gonna take it light on the broads and the heifers. So it's not that you don't have value as a person, but you are no longer valuable to a man for what we want. You see what I mean? You're not. So Jeff Bezos got with an older chick, right? Everybody is talking about, oh, well, Jeff Bezos, but Jeff Bezos is an older himself, right? He doesn't want any more kids. He doesn't want any nothing, but yeah, he can do whatever he wants. So we can also say that Jeff Bezos, like Leonardo DiCaprio, can date any woman that he wants because he does have the gravitas to do it. But for a regular guy, it's the pushback, it's the yickety yak, don't talk back. It's all of those things. So it's not that you don't have value as a person. You don't have value for what when a man looks at a woman, what a man is thinking.
Bro, let me tell you something, okay? There's a lot of women my age running circles around these young women y'all talking about. Some of those young women, no shade to them. There's a lot of them that are great.
Name one.
Huh?
I said
Listen,
name one.
one thing, me, for example, okay, I know there's a lot. Nothing. I know there's a lot of women I look better than, and I'm 52 years old. Okay, some of these women that are in their 20s, and no shade to them. You know, I'm not trying to hate on women. 20s and 30s and 40s look rolled hard and put away wet. Okay, do not take care of themselves and none of that other stuff. Whatever. That's on them. It has nothing to do with
High
me.
body counts. High body counts.
All of that is so. You know what you're saying, brother, is nonsensical. Now to you. If that's what you judge a woman on, that's your standards. I cannot tell you otherwise, but you cannot speak for all men at all. That's how you think. But listen, if I believe
Can we say a majority of men?
No,
Because I hate that when we go to all,
majority
you
of
know,
men,
no, the majority of men, period. Can we say the majority of men? Let's not go to the all thing, because that just is an absolute, right? And we don't want to use an absolute in a situation like this, because there's always going to be an outlier. So you can't say, have you dated all women? Have you seen all women? That's impossible for it's like 8 billion people on this planet. So let's not use a all as the absolute, final answer.
Kiki, you are late, but you know what? I think you really just spoke volumes here. He says, well, that's simple. Date younger women if you choose to, fellas. My only advice is don't create the type of women you hate. Those attributes of older women you don't like were formed by older men when those women were in their younger years. Just saying, I totally agree with you. Because these older cats get with a younger woman, use and abuse her, shut up, be quiet, bend over, now this way, not that way. And then when she gets discouraged and rolled hard and put away wet, then they put her out there. She becomes an older woman who has those scars. And I'm not saying that's why, the only reason why she has that.
Now do they put her out, or do the women leave? Do they put her out, or do the women leave?
Whether she put out or whether she left, however she got out of that relationship, then she now has that baggage. So Kiki, you said a word right there. Don't create the women you hate, because we also know that men who think like y'all also like to trade a men or whatever the case is. So, I mean, like I said, there's levels to this. I actually want to get this question here. Tori, you say, Demitri, why date an older woman with an attitude? I can tolerate a younger woman than an older one that knows it's all, knows it all, that I'm good. Well, I mean, like I said, it's all fun and games dating a dingbat until it is. You date a dingbat that don't know much. Older woman has an attitude. Now, there's a lot of people, women that have attitudes, but does she have an attitude, or you just don't like what she's saying? You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference. But like I said, I know for a fact, you young dudes, I mean, you OGs like to get out there and date the young women. And then, it's like, oh, help, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. It's like, oh, you mean so her being a carpet and laying down and just, a trampoline is not working for you? You mean she can't do anything else? So, like I said, those of y'all who don't want to date a woman your age, that's fine. And that's fine too. But just know that a lot of times when y'all get older, that woman is younger, y'all end up, as they call, being hospice husbands, and y'all force that young woman, and maybe if you married her, I don't know, you make your wife, who's very young, now become your nurse. Then you hear of a lot of cases where that woman is like, shit, you got me messed up. I'm out of here.
I agree with that, though. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be?
No.
I'm gonna give you a scenario. No. I'm gonna give you a scenario, because nobody lives forever. And, my heart goes out to the lady who just called, right? Us men are idiots, but we have a purpose, and we're supposed to be used for something. And all men are going to agree with this. I am glad to work every day so I can provide for you as my woman, Miss D. And when I die, if the last couple of years you got to take care of me after me 30 or 40 years of busting my hump and making our lives better. I mean, that's a fair exchange. My dad passed away. My mom has traveled all around the world now because my dad worked every day tirelessly so that he could provide for us and my mother. Now that he's passed away, my mom doesn't have to pay a house note. She gets money coming in from a retirement. My mom only worked at a daycare before. You see what I mean? She never had no real job where she had any retirement or money come in, but my dad did. So that's what we're supposed to be used for. We're supposed to be used so when we die, you guys don't have to be eating cat food. That was something big. Remember back when we were younger, old ladies eating cat food and stuff like that. So you guys don't have to eat cat food when you guys get to an older age, because you know why? A lot of these women who are working at Walmart, there's no 401k or retirement for them working that 30 hours. Where's that money coming from? A lot of these women that are doing these secretarial jobs, a lot of these women that are MAs and things like that, and a CNA in the hospital, and they're doing that for many, many years. There's no retirement. So you need a man, a counterpart, because the jobs that we do, unfortunately, they might be a little bit more dangerous. But we have a retirement or a pension. It's not as many women in the unions as there are men that are giving up these pensions and there's retirements. So I mean, I agree with that. Yeah. If I work all my life to take care of you, I mean, the last couple of years of my life, you know what I mean? I hope you return the favor.
Okay. Let me tell you something. In that situation, yeah, you've been with that woman for some time, but that's not often the case. I mean, y'all in y'all 50s now, talking about getting a woman that's younger. So y'all got one foot on the grave and one in a banana peel right now as we speak. And y'all trying to get with a younger woman in her young 30s, and then gonna make her take care of you, so that you ain't spent that kind of time with her. And then that's if you marry her, right? If you don't marry her, she ain't entitled to none of that other stuff. But I will tell you this. I personally would not want to be with a super older man, and then I end up having to take care of him because I'm still young, right?
You wouldn't marry Jeff Bezos. You wouldn't marry Jeff Bezos and be sitting on $1 million. I would marry Oprah. I think Oprah got to be 80 years old about now. I would marry Oprah and Jesus, wipe her. Oh, I almost threw up. I would wipe her.
You're a money hungry whore. That's why. No, I would not marry Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos ain't my type. I don't care how much money he got. I'm not going to be with Jeff Bezos because I can also see that Jeff Bezos likes to trade him in too. So, if he want to slide me a couple of billions in, yeah, he could do that. I might, hang out with him on his $400 million yacht or something. But as far as to be with him, no, I would not do that.
Well, why not work for it then? Why not? That's what I'm saying. That's you guys. When men say women's money doesn't matter, we're not always talking about the money that you bring in, because we expect to pay for everything. We expect it. I mean, if you're a man, like I say, a couple of weeks ago, I had a woman actually pay for the dinner. I felt so disrespected, but at the same time, it was like a wow factor for me, because at 50 years old, I've never had that. I've never had more than socks. I've never had more than socks from women that eat that make good money. Even never had it.
You with the wrong woman. You with the wrong woman.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, you are, because I know for a fact they my men. I bought them more than socks, shoes. I believe a woman, when you get with a man, you are supposed to put him up on game, right? Upgrade him, as Beyonce and them would say. Give him a little swag, buy him some good smelling cologne, some clothes, all of that. Tell him, hey, let's go get your hair cut. And I really believe that's a woman's job. You know what I'm saying? I really do. So you just with the wrong woman if all you getting some socks, and from what you saying, you doing a whole lot and she buying you some socks. You with the wrong woman, or maybe she only feel like you worthy of just socks.
No, I'm Miss D. I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about in general. In general, and Donovan, correct me if I'm wrong, please. On Father's Day, men get socks, ties, t-shirt, on Christmas, Miss D, you know what a man gets? Socks, ties, t-shirts, some underwear. On Valentine's, Miss D, you know what a man gets? Socks, ties. On Father's Day, that's what I'm saying. In general, that's what men get. But you know what?
I'm gonna tell you what I got my man. I don't have one now, but one of the things that I've gotten a man that I was with for his birthday, I got him a 23andMe, and he found out who his father was.
That's useless. I mean, to me, that would be hella stupid. Because if I'm
then get to put socks on your feet and get to slip and slide and then out my face.
No, what I'm saying is we can't get tired of paying rent every month. We can't get tired of putting gas in your car every week. We can't get tired of keeping the lights on. We can't keep tired of cutting the grass or trimming the edges. We can't get tired of those things. You see what I mean?
What do you want? What do you want for Christmas and all those? What do you want?
Hell, I don't know. I haven't had nothing for Christmas since I was 15 or 16. How would I even know what I want for Christmas? I know what's past practice, what I have received, which is socks. I know that.
There's some socks. If you getting is socks, you probably got some holy socks. I'm just saying, and how's she supposed to know if you don't know? If you ever say, hey baby, Christmas is coming up, I'm tired of socks. Why don't you get me this for my trunk? Or, a hat for my bald head or something. I don't know.
I got a question for Donovan. Mr. Donovan says she doesn't understand it exactly. What is the most expensive thing that you have bought a woman?
Outside of a wedding ring and an engagement ring and stuff like that, man, if you talk about just for the holidays and stuff, man, we went on vacation. I would say vacation.
And how much would you regularly, because this was a once a year, twice a year, we talking about Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. These things are a regular occurrence.
Oh yeah.
How much?
I couldn't come with whatever the event was. It can't be less than $1,000.
Can't be less than $1,000. It can be less. This is what I'm talking about, Miss D, because I had a woman who I was talking to a few weeks ago after a meeting we had. How much have you spent on a man in vice versa in that way?
You mean for a gift or something like that?
Yes.
What is the most expensive thing that I bought a man? Cause see, for me,
that's a problem. That's a problem because it's taking too long to answer.
I want to know how you, cause you don't know. For me, I feel like I do things all year long for a man. So those things are not. I don't have one now, but those things can add up. But as far as a gift, I'm trying to think. What have I bought a man? I mean, I bought clothes. That wasn't cheap. I mean, as a woman, I wouldn't necessarily buy a man like an engagement ring or nothing like that. So I would say that the gifts for a man and that a woman would buy a man are probably different than a man would buy a woman. But I know that I have spent a copious amount of money on my men in the past. I shoot cologne alone, into the hundreds of dollars. So it just depends.
Man, you know that brute is $24, and that Old Spice is $12 right now.
I like Old Spice.
That Old Spice is $12 right now.
I love Old Spice on a man. It just does something to you. So anyway, we could do this all night. Brother Don says he getting closer and closer to them razor blazing lemon juice. Yes, indeed. Maximum, how you doing? He says, nah, if you need a woman to give you swag, then you lame. Just compliment me among others. I come with the swag already. I might be upgrading you. See, again, in my opinion, y'all got it all wrong. That's what a woman does. Hey, baby, let's go get you a haircut. Now, yeah, there's some men that got swag already. But I know Donovan right here to tell you that he got a lot of his knowledge from a woman that he was dating. When an older woman, might I add, that he was dating, put him on.
Donovan, has that woman ever paid for your haircut, Donovan?
Wait, let me finish.
Yeah, actually, she did. Yeah, she taught me a lot.
I know. Let me tell you how much I know, because Donovan's told me about her. Cause my time and name. I ain't gonna tell her name because you might, be watching the show or whatever.
No, you can say her name.
Her name was LaDonna. Okay, Donovan, how many? You got 13 degrees. Donovan's got 13.
Yeah, I got 12.
He's got 12 degrees, like no joke. I ain't talking about some little certificates here. Donovan's got 13 degrees. And that woman told him, hey, listen, you cute and everything. I like the way you dance. And, you got a mean cabbage patch. And you give me little 3.5 minutes of fun in the bed. However, I'm going to need you to go and be something in life, okay? And she said, if you want to hang out with me, you got to go be something in life. And she put him on that path. And Donovan says it all the time. He says it wasn't for her. She's taught me a lot of things from a woman's point of view that a man should know. So y'all men on here talking about, no woman giving you. So yeah, she may not give you swag, but she is supposed to help you and compliment you and all that. And for the life of me, because I'll be out and about in them streets, if y'all hadn't already seen, for the life of me, I don't understand how a woman hangs out with a man. His hair is shabby, he's shabby, and all of that. And like I said, I'd be out and some of these men just like, y'all take baths. And I ain't even talking about men I'm hanging out with. I'm just talking about like if I'm in a store or whatever the case is. Like my waiter yesterday, he was smelled like he ain't took no bath and stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if he has a woman, because a woman worth her weight would say, honey, here's some soap in a rag and some water, and this is what you do with it, right? You gotta, all of that. So that is a woman's job. A woman's job is to make sure that her man is representative for one of him, because she represents him, and I would say vice versa as well. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all.
Dusty Hotep had a great one. He says, we have a community full of Jada Pinkets, and I'm supposed to bow down to that. Sorry.
I mean,
it's just we see it so differently. I mean, between men and women, but
I'm gonna be good today. I'm gonna give it a pass. I'm gonna be good because I've been doing good all day, so I'm gonna give it a pass. Patty says, my husband and I do not celebrate holidays. We buy things that we need for each other. We are trying to build an empire for our sons. Can't waste money on vanity items. Yeah, I mean, you're doing stuff for each other all year long. I mean, it really shouldn't be uneven. You know what I'm saying? Like if you see your man needs something, some new clothes or shoes or whatever the case is. See me in my relationship, I did the laundry and everything, every way, shape, or form. My man never even touched the damn washing machine. Probably didn't even know how to work it, to be honest with you. So I would see what he needed. Okay, he needs some new socks or some boxers or whatever the case is. And so I mean,
there go them damn socks. There go them damn socks.
If the man needs some damn socks, then he was gonna get some socks. It's just that simple.
Miss D, what was he doing for socks before you met? We can go buy our own socks when we need them. This is my whole thing. This is my okay.
You missed all the other stuff I said. I said I do the laundry and all of that. So if I see he needed some socks, I was using that as an example. He was gonna get some socks, but I buy my man clothes. I mean, hell, Donovan ain't my man. When we was in Japan, I was like, Negro, pick out an outfit. Nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Nah, I think that would look nice on you. Nah, I'm good. You trying to get me to look like, what'd you say, Poindexter or Mr. Rogers or somebody?
Yeah,
like
the Roger from What's Happening.
Yeah, I could see that. She probably trying to get you some ugly ass Christmas sweater. She looked like she like nerdy Poindexter type guys.
Hey, you see how I dress? Okay. I know how to put a man together. Trust me, I do.
I'm just going to stay silent on that one.
Because you don't see me run around in little tight little skirts and stuff. That don't mean I don't know how to dress. Okay, I'm just a little bit more on the modest side. Thank you very much. Thunder says, Brute, no, brother. What you want is high karate. I don't know if I ever smelled no high karate, but yeah, you crazy. Facts not feelings. I didn't say hello to you. Let's see here. I'm just going down here. Brother Samuel, you say, John Gray, author of Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, says women count different from men. We look at the amount we spend, say 1,000, but it counts as one. The woman giving 3 small gifts count as 3 is an example. Okay. Yeah, I see Dusty Hotep's statement. I'm gonna just let it ride. I'm gonna let it ride. Thunder says gray flannel brings back memories. I like gray flannel. I really do. Yeah, I mean, sometimes some of these brothers out here, they don't really they miss the mark sometimes on the whole, getting yourself together. Some brothers think it's all right to take a bath every other day, every 3 days. It's like, not if you with a good woman. You don't know you jumping in the shower every day, bucko. Okay. You need to wash all the hot spots, especially if you're trying to treat me like a trampoline that night. You need to get in the shower, okay? Woo, let me get off here if I get myself in trouble. All right. So anyway, y'all have something to add before we get out of here? And Donovan, what you doing? Watching football? Who's playing?
The Chargers and the Bears. Chargers are up 7-0 first quarter.
All right. Coffee on deck. How you doing? Says truck drivers, most of them enjoy lot lizards. You know what I'm saying? And they want to come home to the wife and be like, no, I'm good. Thank you. Black America, what do you have to add on this conversation? I'm scared to even ask, but go for it.
Nothing. I think as men and women, and this is gonna sound bad, I think we're at an impasse because you women want things and men need things, and those two things, when it comes to people, they don't coexist in the same life. So it's going to get harder and harder, and people are going to get more disenchanted on actually being together because you're so far apart on your wants and your needs. And that's all I have to say.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could be the case, but I think we should try to get with people who want some of what we want. Of course, you're not gonna get everything, but yeah, at least get most of what you want in that person. But and Brother Don, you crazy. You say, seriously, some men will wear them drawers until two threads attached to the elastic band and hole in them socks. Now, I know you ain't lying about that. But for me, and thank you guys all for being here. I'm seeing your comments. I know sometimes it comes off that I'm, tough as nails. I can be tough as nails. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to being in a relationship, you can ask anybody I've ever been with. They'll tell you that Demitri is about that life. And like I said, Donovan and I have not been in a relationship. But no, most of the time when we travel, I cook. If we have time, we'll go to the grocery store. I cook. And I do all the dishes and all that. Donovan ain't in there. Now, Donovan can do all that stuff, but he ain't doing that. Because I'm like, all right, I do that. I don't have a problem doing those things. I'm a cook. I'm a, clean up everything and all that other stuff. So, I know how to, and that some people gonna get mad, play my position in a relationship, especially when it comes to a man. Because I saw my mother and my grandmothers doing those things, and I never saw a scowl on their face or this mother, expect me to. I never heard them do any of that. I never did. They just did it. So maybe because I am 52, I am closer to that generation where women did those things because it was just what they did, right? My mom graduated in 1967, and the number one thing that women in her class wanted to do, they wanted to get married. That was the goal. Oh, I'm gonna get married as soon as we graduate. We're going to the chapel and we're gonna get married, right? That was the goal. I'm gonna be a wife. I'm gonna have some children. We're gonna raise a family. That was the goal. That was an admirable thing. But of course, y'all know in history what happened. So I was born of that generation that getting married. Now my mom, she was a nurse, so she had a nursing license and degree and all that. So she did all that stuff. But she put it all behind to raise children. She stayed at home with us. So I come from that generation. So I don't know. I hear what people say and how things are now. I know that, some of that is true. We've moved away from traditional ways of living, but that's who I am, But on here, one thing y'all never going to see me do, I may act silly sometimes, but I will never show y'all a dumb woman. Okay. I'm never going to get up here and pretend to be like a dumb woman to please anybody on this internet, because for one thing, it'd be an embarrassment to my family, my parents who raised me, and I'm not going to lower myself to stupidity for any amount of likes, comments, or subscribers or none of that stuff. And I want to be with a man that wants to be with a smart woman. Now, I didn't say a smart mouth woman. I said a smart woman, because we all know that, as they say in the nation, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. And I impress upon you all to watch How to Give Birth to a God by the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and he breaks it down. It says the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's work was 75% with the woman and 25% with the man, because as I just said, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. So as a man, ask yourself this: why would you want to be with a woman who is beneath you intellectually? Why would you want to be with a woman that if you leaving her at the house, she has to man the household? No, not to say she's a man, but she has to take care of the household. You need to be able to go off to work and trust that she's going to be able to take care of everything. She's not on the phone with you, honey. I just don't know what I was gonna do. You out there getting after her, right? You need her to be okay, but I got this, that, the other. Okay, I'm gonna take care of her. I'm gonna hold it down. Matter of fact, my man ain't even gonna know all of the problems that went on in this house today, because I am a problem solver and I am going to take care of it. That is the way it should be. Now, in your household, y'all want to get with these dingbats that cannot figure out how to screw in the light bulb, then you go on and you do that. But for me, like I said, I'm going to be me, but I know how to be me up off of this thing too. And I know how to be me in a relationship with a man. Donovan, what say you before we get out of here?
Well, I want to say this. This was a great topic. Of course, it's emotional. If you look at the comments, the majority of men are on one side, women are on the other side, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Two imperfect people come together with their imperfections, and they make a family, and they leave a legacy. That's the whole point of it. Ladies, unfortunately, men will never think like you, and the women will never think like us. That's just how we are wired. But if we are talking about the ladies in the modern age, I will stress upon you guys this. Recently, a guardsman in, I think it was Maine, went on a shooting spree up there. Trained military guardsman, again, somebody who's trained to kill, went on a shooting spree. Things are getting pretty scary out here, whatever. If you are a young person, young lady, single lady, or whatever, just if you're just anybody within itself, it is better to have what you need and not need it than not have it and then need it. So if you could legally arm yourself or arm yourself in any capacity that you can, please do so, because it has already been proven that they are hunting Black people specifically, and that one of the most underrepresented group or most non-defensive group in the United States is, guess who? Black people. And we're not talking about the hood guys. We're talking about the average suckers that we are, that do the right thing, gotten working and all that other stuff. We are not armed and we can't defend our homes and all that other stuff. So if you guys can do that, especially if you are a single woman, a strong woman, and you're by yourself and you don't have a husband, your brother isn't down the street, your daddy isn't down the street, ladies, please defend yourself, because to assume that a man will come and do it, it's not going to happen, and it might be too late. So that's what I want to leave you guys with. I'm going to keep talking about this stuff. The Democratic Party is messing up left and right, and it's apparent where they stand when it comes to Black people. So that's that.
And I'm glad you kind of left off on that note, because Dusty Hotep been acting a fool up in this comment section. He says this is conditional femininity. It's like a mask they put on when it's beneficial. Well, I would say this, and this is not to all men, so please do not take it this way. But if some of those men out there would stop being feminine themselves and start standing up and being men, then some of those women can rest in their femininity. See, y'all want women that have to go out and do a whole bunch of stuff. When you say jump, she says how high and all that. And y'all want her to still be feminine, but see, y'all put her in a role of being masculine and then complain that she is not feminine. So when the man starts walking more in his masculinity, then a lot of women gonna start walking more in their femininity. But y'all got femininity being all wrong. And I also see you said here, why do you conflate being feminine with being dumb? See, that's the way you heard it, because a smart woman can also be feminine, but in your mind, You think that a feminine woman does not have anything valuable to say, or she is not intelligent. All she's doing is sitting around a house all day and waiting for you to bark orders at her. That is not feminine. That is a slave. That is a glorified blow-up doll, a carpet, to say the least. And so, Brother Dusty Hotep, I would press upon you to rearrange your understanding, because y'all got these little crazy, little wonky definitions of what it is to be feminine. First of all, how would you know you ain't a woman? But I guarantee you, if I told you to click this link and tell me what it is to be a man, you would have that all wrong too. So in the process, think about those things that I just told you, and you do have a good night. And I do mean that from the bottom of my very soft heart. So anyway, we're going to see y'all later on Tuesday. Donovan and I will be back for the podcast and the live show. In the meantime, you all be blessed. Peace.